All right, we are now live. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so we should probably do some, because it's been a while since we've made some characters, back up and like remember where we're at. What was that?
I have a last name.
You have a last name now. That's good. So, a couple things. Basically, this is the Crook'd Manse. This is a scenario, I believe, from the late 80s. Fun fact, this was actually ran as a tournament scenario in Australia, but was heavily adapted for publication. This is a fun one, and this is also the first time with our actual cast going forward that will play more games that lead into Masks of Nyarlathotep. Do you guys remember your characters that you built way too long ago?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember mine. Some parts.
All right, so the very first thing, and we're learning as we do this, is good. Okay, need to grab that, move that over here, starting. You guys have received this, and it'll be over in my row. Right? Does that work? Can I copy it? Did it happen?
Yes.
It's trying. Bam.
It's here.
Part of this is I'm going to say, hey guys. So I'm adapting this to be earlier than when canonically it's supposed to. So if you see any dates, I'm going to have to double check them. So just be aware of that.
Okay. I can't move it.
Are you supposed to be streaming Phantasy Star Online too?
No,
Wow.
that's
Oh.
too good.
Oh, that's what
Too
it says
good.
it is. Yeah, that's what you're.
I can't
just checked
wait
channel,
for
yeah.
somebody to show up in chat.
This isn't Fantasy Star.
This looks a bit stranger than normal.
Thanks. I'm out of the flow of doing it all.
Yeah, just trying to help.
I wonder in mod mode I can change that.
Mm.
They added weird mod view.
Did you send out a tweet as well so I can retweet it so something bad happens?
Nope, not yet. I'll get there.
Cool.
Nope, I cannot change that.
Okay. Got the chat open. Got the game open. Good.
There we go.
No,
So-
I know it's not the stream title anymore, but can we also speed level some alts in Call of Cthulhu? Is that
I'm gonna have to.
that's kind of what we're doing now, right?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna have to talk to you
I'd like
guys
to
about
make
that
stuff.
later because in a flurry and frustrated, I'm going to clean everything up phase. I deleted the previous Roll20 games that we played in, which means I don't have your characters,
Yay.
which defeats the
fine.
purpose.
Have no desire to play Nevada Jones.
Mine were dead!
It's true. Yours is dead.
Oh.
No desire to play. I want Ben's character available.
I was gonna remake that character to fit their like new outlook on life anyway. So
That's fair.
fine.
And then like we gotta remember Frank Salazar.
Ooh, I moved my whole
Frank.
camera. Sorry.
All right. So Alan's character,
Hello.
whose name is,
Arwell Parish.
I believe you're a private investigator, yeah?
Yes, I was.
And
Uh,
he received a letter.
Oh,
Go ahead.
dear sir, or dear Arwell, I have been referred to you by a mutual friend. As his attorney, I am very interested in locating the missing Mr. Arthur
Cornthwaite. This name is dumb.
Cornthwaite, and our associate mentioned your name as being one skilled in locating missing people, particularly those of Mr. Cornthwaite's persuasion. Thus, I have taken the liberty of contacting you. I'm a partner of an established legal firm in Cramwell. Mr. Arthur Cornthwaite is one of our clients, and as his attorney, we hold certain documents in trust for him. It would appear that Mr. Cornthwaite has departed without notifying us of his movements. This leaves us in a quandary as to how to manage his estate in his absence without his authority in such matters. We would like you to locate Mr. Cornthwaite and obtain from him his wishes in respect of this matter, or better still, request that he contact us. If it should, heaven forbid, transpire that Mr. Cornthwaite is no longer with us, then we will need some evidence of same to
To proceed with his wishes as outlined in his last will and testament.
Hopefully this is an unnecessary contingency, but one must but one we must nevertheless consider in the light of Mr. Cornway's mysterious departure. I hope that you are free to give this matter your immediate attention, and we would like to extend an invitation to you to attend an interview at our offices as soon as it is convenient to both discuss the details of the situation and your professional fees. Anticipating your reply, yours faithfully, Walter Dodge. And included article from Cramwell Gazette.
From the Gamwell Gazette, which is their local newspaper. So as I'm grabbing that, can you guys go ahead and tell me how either you guys know Alan's character Arwell, who is a PI who knows Arthur Cornthwaite, or you guys know Cornthwaite?
Sure, I can start with that.
Sure.
My character, Joseph Greenwald, knows Arthur Cornwayte because he is a museum curator, and he has worked with Arthur in the past. I'd say that they're like somewhere between acquaintances and friends. Like, they don't know each other super well, but they've been at functions together and have maybe done minor favors for each other.
You've done minor favors with each other. That's awesome, actually. That works out really well. And Ethan Thaddeus Fangsk.
Yes.
How are you connected to all of this?
I believe Thaddeus probably tried to hire Arwell to locate his wife some years past. Because she is no longer with us. I will leave it up to Arwell and how competent Arwell feels, whether or not he found her or not. But regardless, that was our point of acquaintance, was as a client.
We don't need to go read through this one, but this one is good for you guys. You can have that as well, and it's displayed on stream. And John Gabriel Jenkins, who is I forget, is it a 15-year-old street rat turned photographer or photographer turned street rat?
Street rat turned photographer?
Okay.
I wanna say.
How's he
Probably
connected to
gonna
all
end up
this?
being the reverse of that, but we'll see. So, I knew Cartwright because I just grew up in the town. I saw him around, and he was in a few of the pictures that I would take.
Sure.
And he caught me one time taking a picture of him, and then tried to take the film from me, and that's how I know him.
Sure. He does get around with like, well, if you
for the film, I should say.
For sure. The point being mostly that he tried to be especially since he had some business trips. You are vaguely aware that being from around here and knowing him to that degree, you are vaguely aware that he has had business trips in the last couple of years. And ever since he came back, he's much more concerned about his public image.
Yes.
So that's when the price of photographs of Arthur Cornthwaite probably went up and was much more desirable. So I would like a brief description of your character as you are sitting in the offices of the Dodge brothers, which you have now come to realize is Reginald, Walter, and Herbert Dodge. I encourage you guys to take notes, and I do not have a thing for you in Roll20, so pull up your note-taking program of choice, or paper and pen. So you're sitting in the offices of Reginald, Walter, and Herbert Dodge. They are the attorneys, the general lawyers that are in this particular town, Gamwell. And Gamwell is small, and it is not well populated, and there's not a lot to do here. So as you can imagine, these three brothers are like kind of big around town. Their offices are really sparse. And you're all sitting in front of a single desk behind which there is one person. His name is Walter Dodge. And the other two chairs that are next to him, you imagine that this is the desk that they share when they're talking to clients, are empty. It's just you and Walter at the moment. And there's the four of you, and it is a strangely uncomfortable situation. And so I would like to know what your characters look like as he introduces himself to each of you. He looks at you and goes, you are Joseph Greenwald. Yes, hello, how are you?
I am doing well this fine day, sir. well as can be. I narrowly dodged a couple black cats on my way here, but all is well.
And what does your character look like?
Arthur looks like he's a very wrinkled and bookish looking fellow. He has kind of sharp features that have kind of wrinkled and rounded a bit with age.
Mm-hmm.
He is in a obnoxiously tweed jacket and is wearing a pair of bifocals that he adjusts every like couple minutes as they seem to be constantly sliding down his nose.
And then he nods to you from across the desk. He's kind of like a shorter man. He's not stocky, but he's definitely shorter than the average person. And you think, and the table, the desk that he has, that is between all of you, seems to compensate for that. And he looks over to Arwell. Hello, and you are Arwell, yes. And you knew Arthur, so we're hoping that you can help.
Oh yes, no. Me and Arwell, yes, me and myself. Me and Arthur do know each other loosely. I had an inquiry for him, and I was just curious if we could speed this up a bit, just so we can clear up my issue.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry to keep you waiting then. Thaddeus Fangst, thank you so much for coming. And what do you look like?
Oh, sorry, I did not describe how I look like.
You sure didn't.
Yeah, missed that part. Arwell is a bit taller than most people, but he looks a bit shorter because of how big he is overall. It's kind of that weird mixture of you don't really know how tall he is until you get up close.
He's an optical illusion.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
That's
And then
trippy, I like it.
Thaddeus.
Yeah, Thaddeus will respond to Walter with Mr. Fensk is fine and extend a hand to shake. He's just like he's like this really big, like I think he's tall and wide, he's pretty stocky.
Mm-hmm.
He's got just like this unkempt kind of beard and hair situation going on because he doesn't get out much. And he's got like overwashed flannel and some overwashed pants with like they're washed to the point of kind of falling apart a little bit. He's got his suspenders on and his, big knife that he's like cleaning his fingernails with while he's waiting in this office.
He is, Walter Dodge is clearly uncomfortable with that. And I think when I envision your character, I see him having like a beard that lays on his chest as he's leaning back.
Yeah, he's like leaned back, looking forward. He's got the big like Bowie knife. And he's picking dirt out of his fingernails.
And then Gabriel Jenkins, what do you look like as Walter Dodge introduces himself to you?
Sure. So I imagine I kind of look like a less attractive Wally Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver, if you've ever seen that. Washed jeans, not quite as much as Thaddeus's. I've got suspenders on. I have a button-up shirt, but instead of the long sleeves, I have the short sleeve variant. Ruffled hair. It doesn't look like I do much to it. My shoes are dirty, and I happen to carry around what looks like a suitcase, but it's actually just got all of my camera equipment in it because cameras are big.
They're not a new thing, but they're definitely coming, like up and coming in the public.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's what I have carry with me, and I'm just kind of sitting there shyly, just like I'm in an office that I don't know why I'm here.
Definitely not a Tommy gun.
Well, just so you know, the current setting, I believe, needs to be. Yes, it is. It is 1919. Very late July, early August, 1919. Just so you're aware of that. And he looks at all of you and says, "Excellent. Now, thank you so much for coming. We've been we're missing our most famous and established Arthur Cornthwaite, and for whatever reasons and personal connections that you have with the man, I have brought you here to try to help me find him." And then in comes another character. This person is a black man, and none of your characters would recognize him, but you players will know him as Jackson Elias.
Yay.
Okay.
Do you have a picture?
I sure do. Let me find him.
Yes. Whoops.
Jackson Elias. They're all differently sized. You go ahead and resize them.
That's great.
And he comes in and he just kind of stands. There's not another chair. And then Walter looks at Jackson and says, "Oh, I'm glad that you could make it." And Jackson says, "Oh, Cornthwaite and I go way back. I'm happy to help try to find a good friend." And Walter now begins at this point to try to explain to you. So Cornthwaite has been missing for some time, and because of your various connections, we're hoping that you can find him. Now, it has been some time, and absolutely no one wants this to be true, but we need to know either his location or some substantiation of his death.
How long has he been missing for?
A few weeks now. Now, he had a recent business trip. Oh, well, I say recent, it was a few years ago, but ever since he came back, it's always been a little problematic with him, and he was asking us to do some strange things for him, but that's really confidential between us. But the point being is that we need to tie up loose ends with a client, whether he's alive or not. And part of that would be being the executor of his will, and in it is managing his estate. Now, his estate is the Fitzgerald Mansion. The Fitzgerald Mansion is an excellent piece of real estate, and while it has fallen into disrepair in the last while, we need it to stay as put together as possible. So I imagine that you'd want to search that. You can ask me and whoever else you'd like more questions about this and whatever else. And then he opens up a drawer and takes out 2 keys and sets them on his desk and slides it to the group. But these are the keys to the front and the back door of the Fitzgerald mansion, and really we're just hoping that some kind of resolution can come to all of this.
Fair enough. With the business, did he say where he was gonna end up after you lost contact with him?
No, I didn't know that he was going anywhere. If I knew where to find him, I would have done that.
Well, yes. Well, I wasn't sure if we had to look walking distance, car, or plane distance. So I just wanted to see if we had to go international yet.
That could be, but if it has gone international, then we still need to have some kind of idea of where he is. There could be possibly, travel records or something of that sort in the house.
No, I appreciate it. Orwell takes the keys.
Anyone else doing anything? Have any questions?
So what exactly do you want us looking for?
A dead body or him?
Hopefully
put it-
not dead. I would certainly hate to hear of Arthur's demise. He's been a good patron of the museum.
3 weeks is a long time to pick up a trail.
Yep. So we better start sooner than later, I assume.
I mean, it might not be something sinister. I got lost in my own museum for about a week one time.
Well,
Now,
we'll just
granted,
here's
that
one
may
thing.
have been the absinthe I was gifted, but you know.
We can try to take a photo if we see anything.
So if you don't have any further questions or anything like that, there are, as you exit Gamwell or the brother's estate, the office, you, John Gabriel Jenkins, definitely know that there's a few locations around town. It's a small town, but there's quite a few places that could be helpful. There's things like the Gamwell Gazette, which is where the article came from about him missing.
I should read that.
Yeah, there's the local townhouse. I mean, following up with the sheriff's office. I'm not usually going to be so forthcoming with ideas, but things like this would probably be an excellent start.
Sure. So I've been in the town in the town my whole life, basically.
Sure.
And would I've maybe have known where he would have gone regularly? Like, did he have a favorite speakeasy or like bar that he'd go to?
In the last couple years, he definitely lived at home. That is that is very much common knowledge. Before everyone like finally exits Walter's office on the way out, Elias turns around and asks, I have a question. So, if he's missing, and you say there could be clues somewhere inside his house about where he might be, haven't you done any looking into that? And then Walter, like, becomes red in the face slowly and gets a little angry. And we went by and we asked if he was home, and he never answered the door. So he wasn't home.
It's a man's private property. You don't just enter that
Technically, they are
unbidden.
Mm-hmm. That would be the correct legal action, I would assume. So.
She got some kind of warrant.
Mm-hmm.
Walter stands.
Some of the best pictures come where you're not supposed to be.
Walter stands up, and he's not quite as tall as you'd hoped, and he looks at Thaddeus. He's like, "That is correct. That's why we stood a respectful distance from the outside, near the gate, and we shouted if anyone's home. And we were unanswered, so he wasn't. Thank you, Thaddeus."
He gave his door social distancing.
That man's a patriot.
Arwell's opinion of this whole law firm kind of went down the tube.
Because he didn't break and enter?
No, because he didn't open the gate, which may or may not be locked.
So breaking and entering, that's a man's private property.
Oh my god. There is the spirit of the law and the written law, rule of law, Thaddeus. You need to know the difference. I don't know when we're out of character right now. I'm sorry.
I assume we're all walking out now.
Yep.
Elias is with you. So how should we, what do you think? How do you think we should approach this?
Does anyone have a car?
Oh, I do. And then, like, it's Elias's car.
All right.
Where are we?
I think we should start with the obvious. He's been gone for a few weeks. Why don't we ask
To
his
his house?
neighbors and see if they were collecting his mail for him and then knew where he was going.
Oh.
Start.
He's always been a friendly chap. He seems like he might have had a friendly relationship with his neighbors.
I assumed
Or
that
the
we would go
milkman.
to his house first, and then look for stuff, and then ask neighbors.
This would be the time of milkmen too, right?
Of
Time
what?
of milk.
Milkmen.
Milkman? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I think. Maybe. Let's
I
look
don't
that
think they'd just leave that at the door.
Thaddeus doesn't understand the concept of a milkman. He's like, you get the milk from the cow. And if you want it cold, you bury it in the sand in the creek. And it'll
So,
be cold by dinner.
so what are you guys doing?
My vote is his house.
Just go straight to the house?
That's my vote.
How are we
It's
going
a long walk for me. I have to go in someone's car.
No, yeah, Jackson.
Wait, is
Elias
this the
saying
is
we
this
can use
the
his car.
is this the Fitzgerald?
The Fitzgerald estate.
That is the only house?
I
That
mean,
is
there are
mentioned?
many houses. In
Or
the
is
world.
there like a? Okay, I think I understand. That was my bad.
Okay. Are you
I was
confused?
impressed there was like a small townhouse and then like this. other
Yeah.
property.
There's a more central, like, communal townhouse, like, think like temporary inn type thing.
Mhm.
But Cornthwaite's house, the Fitzgerald
Okay.
estate, is a couple miles out of town.
Gotcha. Yep.
Well, if we want to just run directly over to the house, I see no reason not to. I mean, I'm sure we can come back and talk to people, but yeah, head over there and see what we can
Well, they
find.
didn't try very hard at the house. We got to see if, maybe they were just asleep or something.
It's true. They did not try very hard at all. You're right, Gabe.
But he hasn't been to church for a while, Gabe. And as we all know, he was a God-fearing man.
Oh, do we?
Wait, was that established? The church
No.
thing?
Well,
Okay.
the church thing was in the note, I thought.
Tell me more.
Yeah.
In the he's absent.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
just hasn't been to church in a few weeks. Or English is weird in this, I think.
A millionaire, a
Well-
scholar, and a philanthropist.
Well, no, that's not in the right section. Oh, shit. I keep moving stuff. Sorry.
I think some of us should go to the house, and I think some of us should go talk to the sheriff.
I'll talk to the sheriff.
I'll go to the house.
Sheriff doesn't like seeing me. He catches me trespassing a lot.
So you're coming to the house with me?
Yeah.
So you're going to trespass.
It's not trespass.
I didn't
we
say
have-
that.
We are doing what we are hired to do, which is find Arthur.
There were
As
some
a-
pretty birds I wanted to take a picture of.
Well, everyone's gonna do that. I think I should go to the library. He donated a lot to.
Oops.
He did donate a lot to the library. All right. We'll start with library, and that's just Joseph.
Yes.
Joseph is going to go to the library. It's not very far away, so it's an easy walk. And even if it wasn't, Elias will give you a drop off. He also drops off at the sheriff's office before he'll go to the house too. But Joseph
Yeah,
is
he's helping an older man like myself.
Joseph is on his way to the library, and there it is in my notes. Found it, and it is smaller than you'd hoped. You get inside and it's a very small and kind of crammed building. It's got like rows of books that are too close together.
Mm-hmm.
You can't walk nicely through it. And you hear when you enter, you hear that there's someone like ruffling through the aisles in the back.
So I very politely, when I get in, just give a gentle cough and say very quietly, "Hello, is there a librarian to assist me?"
Uh, you say you're greeting, and then out from around a corner, a few books drop, paperbacks, and the ruffling of papers, and then the librarian steps out, and she goes, "Oh, hello. Yes, sorry, I didn't hear. Yes, how can I help you? My name is Mrs. Arwell."
Hello, Mrs. Arwell. Um, my name is Joseph Greenwald. It's a pleasure to meet you. Uh, I'm here because a friend of mine I know frequented this library and I believe also donated to it. Uh, and he has been missing for a few days, and I was wondering if he had stopped by or if you had seen him recently or heard anything about him. His name is Arthur Conwaith. Are you familiar?
You mention his name, and then she does that thing where it's like she breathes in and gives you a very like like pleasant nod, like yeah, we know him. And then at that moment is when you like are able to take a general scan of the books and realize that the vast majority of the books here are on archaeology expeditions and things like that. Yes, we've gotten many donations from him. Some of them haven't reached the shelves yet.
So I'm sure he also talked your ear off with every donation. He can be quite long-winded.
He used to be, but the most recent donations were not. But
Oh. And from there I'd like want to go into like talking shop a little bit and like helping pick up the books just kind of in general because like I organize a museum, they organize a library type thing. Just
yeah,
try to be like generally charming and like talk a little bit about Arthur, not trying to get anything specific.
sure. Go ahead and roll a charm, and we'll move on to Thaddeus, who is headed to the police station.
Sounds good.
So you get to the police station. It is also small. It's the Gamwell. It's a tiny little place, and as you approach inside the police station, a couple officers exit, but as you enter, seem to think that was like everyone is like two deputies, and when you enter, there's like a desk that has a secretary in front of you and just a couple doors behind them. It's very all open, but also there's not a lot here. And she looks up to you and goes, "Hello, can I help you?"
He'll take off his sun hat and say, "Good afternoon, ma'am. My name is Thaddeus Finsk.
Hello.
Uh, I'm working with a private investigator. Name's Arwell.
Okay.
It's all good so far."
Is there something more specific that we can help with?
Yeah, I'd like to make an inquiry about the missing person. We're looking for presumed missing person. We're looking for Arthur Cornthwaite.
You mentioned that, and then like one of the back doors, one of the doors in the back that was half open swings open, and you see a man standing there, and he says, "Never mind, send him back here." You presumably walk past her and go to him. Yeah. As he brings you into his office, he points to a chair, and he sits down on the other side, and He just kind of like stares at you for a while. And because you're you, I imagine that it's just two super gruff people staring at each other.
Yep, he just sits in the chair, he's got his hat on his knee and just looking at him.
I am Sheriff Whitford, and I'd like to know why you're looking for Cornthwaite.
My name is Thaddeus Finsk. It's a pleasure. I'm working with a private investigator, goes by the name of Arwell. Looking into it for some matters of settling his estate. I believe Arwell was hired by the man's lawyers.
Aren't his lawyers the Dodge brothers?
I believe so.
Then why are you here?
I just met the one.
It sounds to
Why
me
am I
like he's got people to already manage his estate.
Right, they're looking for either his whereabouts or his corpse, as he is presumed missing. So they hired Arwell. Arwell reached out to me. Here I am.
Well, there is an ongoing police investigation going into the missing state of Mr. Cornthwaite, so you and the rest of your group can be done. We appreciate the good Samaritanship, but that is that could be it.
So you're not I can't ask you questions and gain more information and insight into this case.
Are you trying to roll?
That was a direct question.
It was, but I want you to roll something, an interpersonal skill, because it's not intimidating.
Interpersonal skill.
This sounds like a persuasion.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I don't think I have any interpersonal skills. That doesn't seem right for my character. So. Oh yeah, no, that's a fail.
Excellent. It looks at you. No, you cannot, because you are not part of this office. You're not part of the police department. What I can tell you is that Arthur Cornthwaite lives up in the Fitzgerald estate. Lots of strange things happen up in the Fitzgerald estate. I am tired of Fitzgerald estate, and if there's a person not living in the Fitzgerald estate, that's fine with me too. I suggest, because as I said, there's an ongoing investigation, that you not interfere with our own, because Gamwell is small and I'm a big man.
I can see that, sir. Thank you for your time. And he'll tip his hat and walk out of the station.
The secretary makes that concerted, I'm not turning my head to look at you, but I'm looking at you on the way out. All right.
Afternoon, ma'am.
So Arwell, Gabe, and Elias are headed to the house. It's a few miles out of town, and as you're driving, you can see it starts to turn into like country miles, right? Like one house goes by and then it's a while, and then another house goes by and then it's a while, and then finally you get to his address.
What does a while look like?
A while? It's about a country mile.
Oh, okay.
All right, I get it.
So then after you get to his address, you come up to, at this point, a large iron fence up his driveway, and the large iron fence / gate is what is keeping you from progressing, and you can already tell from out here that the grounds, it's hard to tell what's in them because everything is so overgrown and and not well kept. Jackson parks the car and he turns and looks at all of you and goes, well, I guess we try a key.
Might as well. Jackson, what would you like me to call you, by the way?
Jackson. Elias is fine.
Okay. We should just try open the gate first.
Sure.
I feel like.
Does the gate look like it's been tried to be forced open or anything like that?
Can you roll spot hidden?
Sure can. Let's see. 20. Is there a spot? QS.
Yeah, spot hidden.
Spot hidden.
Do we check
purple,
skills that we
right?
succeed on?
Yes, the ones that you succeed.
Okay. Yeah.
And to confirm, that's purple.
I think so.
Oh yeah, what are the different?
Either one will be fine. So you push the more complicated one for advantage and disadvantage. Since there was neither in this case, I'm looking at the 0, which is a fail.
Oh.
Does that make
So
sense?
green is the one you want then.
Okay, yeah. The more complicated ones are purple, it seems. All right, so you're looking up and down the fence, and it's got some of that grit that comes on wrought iron, but it doesn't
Yeah.
look like it has been necessarily tampered with.
Question for you: how much film do I have?
Would you like that answer in number of pictures?
Possible.
13. 13 pictures worth of film.
This makes me
I
mighty-
will take a photo of the gate before we enter,
Sure.
just
Oh,
to show
no.
that it was. This is how it was when we got here.
So that when you inevitably have to defend yourself against the lawyers.
So I
Yeah.
like to imagine that the first two are very pointless, and then as he has less, all of them become increasingly more important.
That Walter Dodge is like the ninja complex.
Yes.
It's a movie thing.
Okay.
So you come up to the wrought iron fence, you take a picture of it. Elias is up next to it, and he kind of just gestures to Arwell, who has the keys. Well, go for it.
Yep. I tried both keys at the same time.
And
No.
neither work.
Oh, okay. I
How
just
tall is the fence?
Oh, it is like 10 feet tall. It is
How wide
10.
are the bars?
Uh,
Like the space between the bars.
you would be able to slip through with an extreme dexterity, and no one else is even physically capable of that.
I try and push the gate open.
It does not open. And then Elias just kind of chuckles to himself. It's like, ah, okay. So,
I
they-
mean,
I will
the lawyers
try
are
a
right.
dex check to
Go.
go through,
go for it.
and that's gonna be a green one.
You got a hard.
Dang. Okay. So I try to make it through, and I don't.
You get that thing where it's like you get most of the way through, but then you remember you have shoulders.
Oh,
Oh yeah, those things. Yeah, they exist.
Yeah, right. And then you weasel on back through. Okay.
Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
are you aware of have you ever been to the back of the house? Like back of the walls? I'm assuming that
Back
around
40.
Back 40.
All of my
Actually-
interactions with Mr. Cornthwaite have been either through letter or in places of public meeting. I have never been to his home.
Okay. How much do you like your car?
I'm
I-
sure there's a tree that we can climb over this overgrown fence.
Oh,
Okay.
Or
Here's
these
the
vines that we
gates.
can use.
I think you're new to this, Arwell. And he goes over to his car and he opens up the trunk and he pulls out a crowbar. I am used to going into places I ought not be.
just
Taking
so
a
that,
photo of him crowbar.
just so that both of you are clear, in my head there are levels of laws. In missing person is more important than breaking enter, especially when we are trying to find the missing person.
There are
Just-
levels of loss.
Yes, like murder's bad, but dying is worse.
All right,
sure.
let's go back to Ben. How are you doing
Oh,
at the library?
So, she's not really falling for my charming, doddering old man act.
Mm-hmm.
So, after a few minutes of talking, I think I go, well, Miss Arwell, when was it you said you last got a donation or saw him?
Oh, it must have been the last time I saw him in any capacity like that must have been immediately after he came back from his business trip. That must have been 3 years ago now. I've seen him around town, of course, but I haven't gotten anything from him since then. But he did give me most of his collection.
Oh, how strange. He used to love just keeping so much stuff. You should see some of the stuff he tried to foist onto the museum so that he could keep the more precious things. Regardless, I was hoping maybe I could go through some of. Well, I have two requests. One, I'm hoping I can go through some of what he donated last, just out of my own curiosity, because I mean, I'd like to think his friend, and I'd like to get to maybe know what he was up to. But also, do you have any good romance stories that I could loan out? It gets really boring reading the same historical things over and over and over, and I like a good something fantastical or like romance to kind of pass the time.
Did I see earlier that you failed a library use, or was that something else? A charm.
I failed a charm. I
Right.
didn't make a library yet.
Give me
I
a-
was planning to set that up right here.
Give me a library use.
Yeah.
100.
Where did she go? Library use is right here. Green die.
Oh,
Oh, you want to spend 2 points on luck?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, wouldn't I need to spend 12 points on luck?
yeah.
Is that a 62? Oh, you're right. I see
Yep.
a very small version of it.
I will still spend 12 points on luck.
Okay. Sure. So, she suggests, well, yes, I do have some interesting novels. And she goes to behind the counter and pulls one out that she's been personally reading. It's like, I especially like this author. It's a little bit more interesting, if you know what I mean. But also, if you'd like to look and see what else that he had donated, feel free to peruse the books. You'll find that he had lots to say about them, and we prefer our books in better quality, but we did get so much quantity.
And you said the last set he donated was unusual. Would that be in this section with all these other archaeological books, or would that be elsewhere?
I'm sorry, I'm unclear. The last set he donated is unusual, and she just kind of like vaguely gestures to the library.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I'm a bit slow in my age. I didn't quite get.
Well over half of our books are now anthropological or archaeological or have something to do with South America. It's all just it's so much, and there's more in the cellar. So feel free to peruse.
No. I will peruse, and maybe I could work out to take some off your hands later if that would help.
Sure, we're gonna come back. Remind me that you succeeded. Thaddeus Fengsk, what are you doing after this not great meeting with Whitford?
Heading to the library.
Fantastic. You will find Joseph like thumbing through several different pieces, thumbing through several different books, and he at this point, Joseph, you don't need to remind me, he has like 4 books open, and between them, with the penciled scribblings of Cornthwaite in the margins, you can tell that he was incredibly fascinated with South America. In fact, you learn that he was referring to something specifically called the Great Pyramid in South America.
Great Pyramid. Just writing that down. Okay.
I thought the pyramids were in Egypt.
No, my good man. There's also from the Mayans and the other South American indigenous people. They had some structures and pyramids as well. Though I believe many were destroyed and looted by the Spanish back then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Miss Arwell comes up to you guys and says, "By the way, so you're looking for Cornthwaite, is that right?"
Yeah, we're just trying to find out what happened to him.
If somehow you go up to his estate, his house, or anything like that, I know this is really uncouth of me to mention, but he's got a book checked out, and it's well overdue. So if you see it, I'd really appreciate it if you could return it.
Sure. Could I have the title and author of this book?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's The Missing People by Thomas Pratt.
The Missing People by Thomas Pratt.
That's an unfortunate name for a book to have been checked out by a missing person.
She like looks away, finding the irony.
What was the name of it again?
The Missing People by Thomas Pratt. Alright, anything? What was the book about? Do you remember?
I don't, because I'm tired of archaeological and anthropological books.
You know what? Fair, my good woman. Well, we will I guess take our leave, and if we stop by the house, which we very well might, if we can get the book, we'll return it to you.
If either of you have a library use, which I don't think you do, that's greater than 50, you can.
Yeah, mine's at 50.
Thaddeus, absolutely not.
25?
25? No, that's
No,
not.
20.
50?
20.
20.
Oh.
It's the
I'm
default.
real good at appraising, not so good at the reading stuff. That's why I'm a curator, not a historian.
Does I need to check. Whoop! All of those things came to me. All those rolls happened to me all at once.
Thaddeus has like cheap paperbacks of like Thoreau and other transcendentalist poets that he leafs through because that's the kind of stuff he's into, but that's it.
I do have a high history score if it's a historical book.
Yeah, give me a history. So what I like about Thaddeus having Thoreau is that, like, one, he wants to leave the materialism behind, but also it appeals to him.
I rolled a hard success on it.
Oh, then you have a vague knowing of Pratt. You still don't know what the book is about, but one thing that you are aware of about the book is that Pratt is often on the fringes of accepted science, not unlike the author Jackson Elias.
All right, well, then maybe I will ask Jackson if he knows of this Pratt.
So let's get back to Gabe Arwell and Jackson as he's now pried open the wrought iron gate, and as it squeaks open, he walks back over to his car and just lazily throws the crowbar back into his trunk.
She don't want
Well-
to take that with us?
Well, we're gonna drive up, aren't we?
Yeah, but how are we
After
opening
you.
the gate?
The gate's open. There's a driveway,
Oh,
Arwell.
Sorry. For some reason I did not notice you breaking the gate. I thought you were opening one portion for all three of us to fit through.
No.
How long
I-
of a
I'm
drive
blind.
is it? Like, of a driveway is it?
It's a driveway.
It
That
will.
is a
It will.
country driveway.
it-
It could be a quarter-mile long. As
Yeah.
someone who's had a quarter-mile long driveway.
No, that's why it's called a driveway. Otherwise, it's just a
It's the way you
parking
drive.
spot.
It'll take you like a couple minutes. It's definitely not that long, but like a moment.
Say, because we may not want to disturb the driveway if there's like things to find. If it's a
It's
short
been-
one,
Oh, but Gabe, I just spent so much time opening it.
we got through. We can get through now. My little body didn't even fit.
Oh, you want to walk up there?
Not particularly.
Then get in the car, Gabe.
Yeah, get in the car.
A shotgun.
So now that everybody has rearranged their seats in Jackson Elias's car, he begins driving up the driveway. Which is probably nice, because now that you have officially broken and entered, there's you drive by what looks like used to be an ornamental garden flanking each side of his driveway, which is well overgrown. It's also not great looking. Overgrown, muddy, just in disrepair. And then after a little while, you drive up to the front of the house. On the way to the house, you saw that there was a tiny little shed just off to the side, disconnected from the rest of the house. When you drive up to his house, it seems like he may have been gone for more time than thought, because the rumors, were that he didn't really leave. So it's not really sure how long he's actually been missing, because the house, not only is it just like kind of shambling for how long he should have been gone, but many of the windows are shuttered from the inside.
Okay.
Okay. I
Um,
take the key and open the front door.
Just jumping
gotta
up in
look
there.
around the courtyard, because it sounds like there may have been like a little courtyard you drive up to, or because you say ornamental garden, so I imagine it's a driveway up to like a little like parking area where the cars would stop and you'd get out and go into the house, type of thing.
It's got a circle driveway essentially, and you just go straight up into it. The ornamental garden, I mean, more is just like his entire grounds are curated, like a crane.
Okay.
So before we go into the house, what are you guys doing now at the library?
Well, do you have anywhere else to go, or should we go join the others at the house, you think?
Law enforcement is ineffectual, as usual. and also unhelpful.
That's you should see the amount of things that various people of the law have destroyed before they end up in my museum, just because some good scholars wanted to take it from where they're originally from.
However, I will say there is an active police investigation into this missing persons case, so we may come up on the wrong side of the law if we make too much noise.
Well, I say we go find the others and tell them what little we found out of what he was looking into, and that he had a missing book. See if we can find it. And yeah, I guess that's what we do. I want to call a horse and buggy. I don't trust automobiles. I don't know about you.
This will be display capture. So that is.
Thaddeus would either have a horse and buggy or a really shitty pickup.
I imagine that. Well, that's probably true, but you don't need it in this particular case. As you're exiting the library, a car pulls up. Kind of a bum car, a jalopy, and a guy leans over and rolls down the window, and he leans over and he's got his hat on, he's got a camera on his neck. Goes, "Hey, are you the guys looking for Cornthwaite?"
Yes.
Who are you?
My name is Mr. Varelli, and I'm with the Gamwell Gazette. I'm mostly the photographer, but I plan on doing some stories soon. I hear there's more of you. Where are you? I was hoping you could take a statement, like to get a photo. How you feeling?
No photos,
we could probably
please.
arrange to do that later with everyone if that's what you're wanting.
Speaking of, where is everyone?
I'm not sure. I think I know where they are. I think they're checking out his old house, but I don't know if they're still there. I've been in the library for like 5 hours.
He looks around. They left you out here? You want to lift up to the house?
Sure.
Let me grab my things. I imagine Thaddeus is not carrying his shotgun and his wood-cutting axe with him into all these businesses.
Right, yeah, I imagine he's not.
I'll grab him from his little horse and buggy.
I want to talk this guy's ear off because I want to try to persuade him to do a story on the museum to try to drive more attention to my museum.
Oh, that's fun. Go ahead and roll persuade.
Let's do that. And that's pretty much my plan is just to barely let him get a word in edgewise and just keep talking about the museum.
Fantastic. Yeah, no, I like that. Persuade or fast talk at that point, really, because that's what you're going for. The ride up there it feels longer than it actually is. Thaddeus likes silence, and Joseph cannot produce that. Varelli is trying to mention anything. At some points you start to think maybe he's coming around. Maybe the story of a lost philanthropist helping out a small museum could be a cool story. Please stop, please. And
it's and I could collect all the artifacts he's donated over the years. It could be a whole thing for your piece as well as a piece about my museum.
So as you guys are driving up to the house, Arwell, Gabe, and Elias, you have opened the front door. The key does work to the front door, and pretty much as soon as you open it, and this is a thing we're gonna take a break so I can start to lay out a couple things. But as you open it, you open the front door, you're immediately greeted into a hallway with stairs directly in front of you that lead up to a second floor, and just wallpaper is peeling off of the wall, and a part of the ceiling just falls and crumples in front of you, splatters and shatters across the floor.
So we're looking for a body now.
I mean, someone could live like this.
I don't think. Well, yes, that's true, but I'm not convinced that a wealthy man would live like this.
Now, we haven't seen him for years. He's a very reclusive man.
Well, he
was a changed man after he went on a trip.
He was a changed man. Changed man how?
I actually never met him.
He used to go out and about and donate to the library, but now we never see him.
Just reading from the newspaper article. That's how we succeeded. Just reading from this newspaper article to Jackson as.
So I think it's a little early, but I want to be able to not necessarily do a whole map, but I think a short break will be good so that I can try to transpose some shapes to try to help with that.
Cool.
Yeah,
Sure.
that'd be good. Yeah,
Okay.
we don't need anything complicated. Even just like a simple flowchart thing would be
Mhm.
good.
Oh, you know what? It's great for flowcharts. This thing I discovered, like a mineral, I think. Have you guys heard of that?
And with that, we go to intermission.
Bye. Okay.
Bam. Because part of this is your guys' job. Part of me running this easier is Croy, shut up. Just put the thing. Just give us the map. So here you have the map.
There's a map app. Oh,
I-
here's the map.
I trust you can find it.
Like we're not swiping?
Yeah, I think. Oh, wait. If I hide it though. Yeah,
Suburb.
L is to lock, by the way.
Geared lock.
I like that's called the cloakroom.
Well, where else are you gonna put your like?
So
tokens?
do me a favor and don't metagame,
Okay.
right? So
So is this just the first floor, right? We don't see the second floor.
correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Never mind that the second floor is right here.
Yeah, I know. I
Right
just
here.
saw that.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm guessing the
Well,
basement isn't important, or the cellar, or whatever.
Cool. Now no one can read it.
Yeah, I don't have a map for that.
Oh, okay.
And
Why
We
the
can
fuck's
get
no
there.
base- What?
Okay,
make
leave it alone.
smaller?
So,
Okay.
let's see, who is it? Arwell, Gabe, and Elias. Like basically, think of it. Think of the camera from the inside, looking at the front door from the inside. Open it, and then plaster falls and smacks the ground, and you see wallpapers peeling off, and it's just this place has obviously not been in use for quite some time, and everything's just a little bit gross.
Oh, fantastic.
So how do we want to divide up this area? Because we have the stairs, but I think that's about it.
Well, yeah, you do see the stairs, obviously, directly in front of you, leading upstairs.
Probably. I mean,
Well,
There's
I'm
the
at,
door
like-
to the cloakroom that's like immediately
Yeah.
to your right, also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we
Uh,
might as
does
well
it-
just.
does it all look like there's a coat of dust on the ground? Or does it look like someone's gone like used that house?
Sure.
Like, does
Do
it
you
look
have-
like no one's moved at all in
do
this
you-
area?
Yeah, no, well, no, it doesn't look like that. However, I know that you have a science. What science do you have?
Chemistry?
Let's pull up that. Pretty cool. So
I
you have chemistry?
tracking, but I-
Yeah, go ahead and roll me chemistry.
It doesn't have a number next to it? Do I just push it?
Then that is me not inputting that correctly. Let's look at you. Because you are John Gabriel Jenkins. Character sheet. Warcraft, science, chemistry. Oh, I don't have the astral. Do you remember what it was? I think it was really high, actually. Because you did, like, here.
I think it was. I think it was the same as my photography.
It was. I remember it being, like, really high because of your development. So, go ahead. Give me that.
Oh.
That is a fail.
That is a fail. Would you like to spend 15 points on that?
Out of how many do I have?
Your
That's
luck?
70?
That's a lot of points, though.
Do you have 70 luck? Holy shit.
You can also push the roll. Remember, guys, pushing a roll is a thing where you can describe how you are somehow taking more time or dangerous action. And I'll let you know if you can push it, but like if you fail the second roll, that's bad.
Chemistry
Push it
to
to the
see
limit.
usage, and I'm pushing it.
Push it to the limit.
I'll just get lucky. 55. Put me to 55.
Sure. So you open, plaster falls, terrible wallpaper, and then you're like, something's up. And you look around, and you know, like there's the trim on the floor near on the wall, right? And you walk over to the banister that leads up into the upstairs, and you just see this omnipresent. It's everywhere. If you tilt your head just right and hit it with the light in just so, this weird little sheen, just like on most
cool. So-
surfaces.
I'm gonna use like my flash when I got lucky because I used the flash on my light because it was my camera because it was a
Yeah.
little dark, and I saw the sheen. And I
Yeah,
see him
like the
looking
whole
at that.
room gets like way too bright for just a second.
Yeah. Okay. You seen anything like this? Whatever your name was, Al. Arwell.
Arwell? Not before. It looks. I thought it was just a dusty room, but the light was. Yeah.
Elias comes by and he like rubs his finger along it and like pinches his like that's strange.
Have you seen this before, Jackson?
I have not seen this. No, I have not seen this.
I have one of my little film reel like holder things. I'm gonna use one of the ones that are just extra I have and try to like put some of it in it.
Sure. There's not quite that.
possible.
There's not quite that much.
Like
It's-
just cup all the way down the banister and just.
Sure, you can do that, but at that point, you're really more like you're getting some of it, but it's because you're actually scraping the wood. It seems to be part of it rather than just a substance on top.
Is it possible for Arwell to riffle through the pockets if there are any coats in the coat room?
Sure. So you open up the door, you open up into the coat room, and in the cloakroom, there are several coats still in there. And go ahead and give me a spot hidden.
Green one, right? Yep. Nice.
Oh, and with a hard success, that's perfect. You find on one of the coats there is a tag that's like hidden because it's not nice to see that, but it's kind of like tucked away and you can pull it out and it has the initials AC on it.
Oh, okay. So he left his jacket.
Right. But you don't see anything else in the pockets here. No, you don't.
Okay.
And then at that point, a car pulls up through the driveway and parks in the circle drive outside next to Elias's car. He turns around near the doorway and he goes, "Someone else is here." And that is where Thaddeus, Joseph, and Varelli enter.
And how far did you guys make it into the house?
We made it to the first room in the cloakroom.
The hall, the cloakroom. That's about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, Joseph puts on his gloves because he doesn't like touching gross things. And this old house definitely qualifies for that. And then just says, "Hello, anyone there?"
And then coming in, you see that everybody else is here.
Oh, wonderful. I'd like to introduce
Gentlemen.
Jackson. I'd like you to introduce you to this man, and I hand the photographer off to him.
You do that. Jackson grabs him in a firm handshake and hand on the shoulder. "Hello, hi, my name is Jackson Elias." He's like, "Hello, my name is Mr. Varelli. And what are you here for?" "I'm a photographer and a reporter." "So you're looking for a story on Cornthwaite?" "Yes, I am." "Perfect." "Well then, here, come with me." He puts an arm around Varelli and starts leading him through the house, and he disappears. Goes like,
Was that all to get Rob to talk to himself for a bit?
No, I realized the only charismatic character in this group was Jackson, so I figured I'd voice the photographer off.
I
Yeah.
think I know him. I've met him before.
Yes.
Because he's with the local. He is a photographer, kindred minds, but I don't think I like him. He talks a little too much.
No, actually, yeah, that's fair. That's probably true.
Wait, was that
He's
the
not the only
photographer
one.
from the local newspaper?
Yeah, the Gazette.
Yeah, he takes awful pictures. Okay, that's it.
I mean, they aren't me. I want his job.
I'm surprised he still has one. So since we're all here, we're at his house. Nothing in the cloakroom. Do you guys just want to start going room by room? Do you guys
So,
want to
guys-
go upstairs, downstairs?
So
I'm
when
assuming
we
it
were
was
here,
downstairs.
turn your head slightly sideways and watch as I hit this flash.
You see the same unnatural sheen across most things.
This place is a mess.
On seeing that sheen, I immediately clean my glasses and put them back on.
While you're doing this, and you can hear the voices of Varelli and Elias echoing somewhere in the back of the house. I imagine most people are still congregating near the cloakroom and in the hallway.
Yeah.
Another car pulls up. And if you look outside, you see 3 similarly statured men. And it's the Dodge brothers. And you don't know how, and you're very concerned why. But they all come walking up to the front of the house, carrying whatever luggage and packages and traveling bags that you have all packed for yourselves coming to this place, red-faced, bringing them inside. And then, oh man, I wish I knew names
I'm
better.
gonna hide in the library while they come up. Is that possible?
I
Like,
would
I
agree.
see them pulling up, and I want to hide in the
Yeah, sure.
library section.
Reginald looks over, glares at Walter, and is like, "We forgot to mention that because this might take some time, we're giving you free use of the house. Please keep it in good repair." And he looks down at the plaster. "I could see that you've already failed at that, but here are your things. I'm very sorry. Also, I see that you opened the gate. Good job."
This house, the issues of repair and things of that nature, this took way longer than the few hours that we've been here.
I am insulted and thank you for bringing us our stuff.
I can only say that the last time I was on this premises, that, and he points to the spread plaster on the floor, was up there.
No, that's fair, but when was the last time you checked in on a client?
They all start looking back and forth at each other. We checked in weeks ago. We told you. Thaddeus knows.
Yeah, what was that date again?
um
Pull out my pocketbook.
Rob as GM, let's just say 4 weeks ago. But
this isn't for real information. This is just to give them shit. So
they're like one entity in 3 different bodies. All of them are too small, and they're all just looking back and forth at each other. Look, we're very sorry that we didn't tell you. You feel free to do this. We didn't even. I am. That the other one glares at Walter. Obviously, you'll be paid for your time here. There has been more accommodations made for you, and you can stay here for however long you need, if you need. And there will be $100 for each of you at the end of this if you manage to tell us where he is or give us evidence of his departure. And there's plenty of bedrooms, so here you go.
All right.
At this point, Elias comes back in with Varelli, and then the 3 brothers see Varelli, and they kind of turn around and huddle, and you can hear whispers of the newspaper's here. Why is the newspaper here? They're gonna take photographs. Where's Cornthwaite?
I speak loudly. "Oh, Varelli, come here. You should meet the Dodge brothers. Wonderful people."
He walks over to.
There are missing persons lawyers, his personal lawyers. I'm sure they would love to be in your photo and story.
He's offering us $100 each for evidence on where this man's gone.
Varela, you need to work on your
An outrageous
composites.
sum for checking up on someone.
An outrage. Elias is very close to breaking, so he hands off Varelli and disappears back into the house.
I actually go chasing after Jackson. I want to speak with him.
At this point, Varelli and the brothers have started talking. Go ahead, Joseph.
Jackson, I did some digging at the library for our missing person Arthur here, and I wanted to check in with you on if you knew something about this person. And I pull up my notebook so I remember the name, and it's the. Do you know anything about a Thomas Pratt?
Oh, I've heard of Pratt. I've heard of that, but not so much. Why? What are you looking for with that?
Well, it is the last thing that Arthur checked out from the library, and it has not been returned. So that's why the librarian wanted me to look for it. But I found that quite strange because apparently, when he was last at the library, he basically donated his entire personal collection of books. And it seems strange that he would then check out a book and then hold on to it for 3 years, if that was the case.
That
Uh,
is very strange.
And I saw that this person wrote in a similar field to yourself, so I was wondering if you knew more.
Well, if that's true, then it probably has to do with groups of people, maybe tribes, maybe cults, that sort of thing. Those are the types of things that I tend to write on.
It was called The Missing People, so I guess that would make sense.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for it then.
And then he had an unusual number of books on the Great Pyramid of South America.
That is very interesting to me.
Yes.
What is 1 second? What is Arwell, Thaddeus, and Gabriel up to at this point? Gabriel went into somewhere else, right?
I just hid myself into the library so that because I wasn't sure who was coming up at first.
Yeah.
But I would like to look for what either his personal chambers or like where he would spend a lot of his time, like an office or something like that.
Sure. So you're gonna do like a cursory around the house on the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to probably find something like the study.
Sure. I mean, there is like a parlor of just like a hangout, as you can see, which I can better describe, but in just like a very cursory glance around, you don't see anything like that. What's Thaddeus and Arwell doing?
Arwell's just going room by room because he's assuming nothing bad's going to happen in this house now. So he's just like going through and just seeing where everything's at and getting a general sense of the house in general.
And
Thaddeus is
Thaddeus?
gonna take everyone's pile of belongings and just toss them into bedrooms upstairs. Just
Sure.
arbitrarily, like, this is your stuff. You go in this one. This is your stuff.
They're
That
just
kind of
like-
thing.
Did they go to my house and be like, "Hey, parents of Gabriel, let me pack you a suitcase"?
So part of coming here, which is my bad, would be some understanding of like you might be away for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
That's much more relevant to the people who are out of town, but like it would still be easy to be like just pack a quick bag for yourself. So
Thaddeus is out of any town, so he's always out of town.
Elias and the Dodge brothers have moved their conversation outside on the outside balcony, like porch area, as Thaddeus is like going just trudging up and down. Can you go ahead and roll for me a listen or a spot hidden, whichever is better.
Oh, let's see. Spot hidden, they're the same.
Perfect.
Pick
I'll
one.
just click. Yeah. Nope.
Pick the other one.
I should have picked the other one.
Perfect. So as you are just trudging everything along, the house is an old house. It was built well before Cornthwaite, and many of the floorboards are quite creaky. So Thaddeus is making a lot of noise throughout the house as he's just throwing bags indiscriminately.
If there's any like bedrooms where the bed is completely like just rotten, he would not put like stuff in those rooms. Like he's not just like, you get this room because I said so. No, he's like looking
Sure.
for rooms that one could actually sleep in.
Mm-hmm. That's very
Traveling
pleasant of you.
favorites.
After a while, the brothers like shake hands with Varelli. They seem to have like ended their conversation, and then the brothers get in their car and they start to drive off. Varelli comes back inside. Who is near the hallway, if anyone?
I was thinking I might try to navigate towards the kitchen. So I might be in the hall.
Yeah, I was probably done talking to Jackson, so I might be there as well.
Sure. Well, going over into the kitchen and in the dining room, just real quick. Library. Can you give me a spot hidden, John?
Sure can. Just a second, switch that tab. Spot hidden green. Did it click it?
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh my god.
Oh, it
Extreme
sure did.
success.
Okay. Extreme success, perfect. So as you are like, you're I don't know if you can see my cursor. You're going down the hallway. You're going up through the dining room and just checking out this general corner. Extreme success. Do you come from a broken home, by the way, Gabe? I'm going to say
Sure.
yes, which is exactly why you're able to tell when things are off. Never mind this weird sheen. So as you walk through the dining room, just like little things out of place, there is a place set for one person in the dining room, which is by itself very strange. But secondly, on the table, there is only a pepper shaker. Alrighty. So as Joseph and Thaddeus, I believe, were talking to Elias, kind of walking around. Was that no? Thaddeus is doing the bags.
Yeah,
So
it sounded
bedroom.
like Jackson didn't really have much to talk to me, so I'm assuming that conversation ended.
Well,
Is that
as
at the head of the table? Sorry.
yeah, it's near where the place is set. Is the paper shaker?
Well, no. Is the table set at like the head?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So that would be the one side, or is it off to the side, like in the photo?
In the photo's fine. Either way, it's the point closest to the kitchen.
Because there's like an old patriarchal difference between the head and the side.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
I see you rolling psychology. The three brothers leave, and then Elias shuts the door. Where are you, Arwell?
Arwell was doing like a round of the house just to get a feel for everywhere. So I am everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
You are everywhere and nowhere at the same time.
Yeah. No, chances are I probably like check out the library at some point in the study and see if there's
Can I
anything.
have you roll a power, please?
Ooh, I am more than happy to roll that for everyone. Yeah.
Where is that?
That's a good.
That's a
It's
thing.
an
Okay.
extreme.
An extreme success. Oh my god, you guys are doing so well. So as you let's go ahead and say that like as you enter the parlor, for example,
Sure. Where you parlay.
you were in the parlor and there's got extremely comfy chairs in here, but everything is still like slightly shredded, just kind of gross. But more than that, in this room, because you've done a couple laps throughout the house, just kind of like checking it out, and it smells. Everyone is beginning to notice that the house smells. But in this room, right now, it seems smaller than it used to. Nearly imperceptibly. But just a little bit more claustrophobic. And it's very strange, and it starts to like make your spidey senses tingle.
Ah. Was there anything in the parlor left since I am here?
As far as like actual objects that you can see in front of you, the parlor wasn't like necessarily more exciting or interesting. There's it's got the several chairs sitting around the table. It has a book on it on South America. It's a place where he would entertain guests. It's just strange that he would entertain people in such a small room, it feels.
Well, the book doesn't seem that important, but I want to pick it up just for a light read later on.
Sure, you do.
Yeah. Okay.
It is not the missing library book.
Damn it.
How long ago does the table look like it was set?
Give me a spot hidden to try to discern that.
Failed.
It
But you rolled the nice number, so that's gotta be worth something.
nice. It looks like it looks like it has been lost and forgotten for exactly as long as the rest of the house. In that, like, whatever sheen is around, whatever layer of dust is the same.
Also on it.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's been gone for at least that amount of time because he hasn't eaten here.
Thaddeus, what have you been up to? I'm sure you're done with the bags by now.
Yeah, after taking the last setup, he's just gonna look and he's looking for like floorboards that are like more worn or just gaps in the dust where somebody's been walking around? Because he's like, if somebody's been here, they've been walking around.
Oh, sure. You can give me a track or a navigate with that.
Track. Yeah, that's the
I've got
thing.
no
The
results.
thing that I do.
Question, if that's
Nope,
okay?
I'm not rolling well. Fail.
Oh no.
You know, you think that as you're like checking out the floorboards, especially with the way that you've been going up and down the stairs, that you're starting to see a difference between the floorboards on the first floor and the floorboards on the second. And as you like, you can feel like when you push down, it's got a little bit more give on it on the downstairs. You're not really sure what's going on with that. Would you like to push that roll, or are you good with that?
Why not? What's the worst that could happen? I could fall down the stairs. Sure, we'll do it again.
Well, you're on the
Just roll
first
it again,
floor.
right?
You're on the first floor. Yes.
Oh, okay. I'll spend the 9
Nice.
luck to succeed on that one.
Okay.
Because that's an amount of luck that I'm comfortable spending.
At this point, you've noticed, because you've noticed that many of the floorboards are squeaky, and that's to be very expected, but they're not downstairs. And you're an outdoorsy kind of guy. You know how to build things, and it would be very strange for this house to have creaky upstairs floorboards, but not downstairs. But more than that, when you step on some of the floorboards downstairs, it's like, imagine there's a pool of liquid directly under the floorboard. So when you step on it, in between them, you like push it up a little bit with displacement.
He'll call out to the rest of everybody and say, "This place got a basement."
I
Arwell,
haven't made it to the kitchen yet.
well, the both of you have kind of like just like been zooming around, and at that point, Arwell and Gabriel are like, well, there's a door downstairs. There's a door in the kitchen that goes. There's a door in the kitchen.
Something ain't right about these floorboards. Might want
Uh,
to check it out.
I'll go
Arwell's-
with him.
Arwell's going to take the book he got in the parlor and then reminisce while he's in the study reading just to like take a mental break.
Sure. What's Joseph
It'd be
doing?
fine for me to keep a torch with like in my bag because I explore a lot.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Joseph finds his bag.
Flashlight. torch.
wherever
Upstairs?
that ended up. Yeah.
In one of the guest bedrooms upstairs.
Okay.
Oh, he got
and
first
then
dibs.
He grabs he grabs a pouch or two from it, and he goes down to the front door and he pulls out some fennel seeds and fennel leaves from it, and he starts nailing one of them into the front door for good luck because Joseph is extremely superstitious.
So Gabe, Thaddeus, and Elias are in the kitchen, which by the way smells terrible, as if something has rotten in here. And you're all just
The
kind of
icebox look recently filled. I
No,
assume not.
it is definitely not. And you're looking at all just kind of standing in front of the door, directly in front of that door, which, as your metagame can tell you, is the doors downstairs.
Wow, shocker.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
So Elias looks at you and says, "So there's something up with the floor?"
Yeah, that's could be some kind of leak downstairs or something. It's too much give.
All right. All right. Well, let's check downstairs.
I pull out my flashlight and turn it on.
Sure.
Or torch, whatever they call it back then.
Torch is a British term. Flashlight would I think it was always called a flashlight in America.
Okay.
But anyway, so it is very obvious at this door that it opens inward, not into the kitchen. So it's a push door.
Yep.
Pushes. Elias grabs the handle and twists it. It twists freely. There's nothing that seems like it should stop it, but like he can't. He tries to push it and it doesn't, and it just doesn't budge. And he turns and looks at you guys, puts his other hand on the door and tries to push, and it doesn't even give. It's just like a wall.
Solid wall. I'll take a photo of it and see what the one, to have a photo of it, but two, also to like see what the sheen looks like on it, if at all. See if maybe there's a stronger sheen.
Sure. It does flash brightly against the whatever residue might be here. Potential water damage, probably.
comparatively to the my original sheen check, is it possibly brighter?
There is no way to tell. That's a very strange thing to look for, and you're on the right track, but like that's all too fast.
I got it.
Thaddeus will
No,
try
you
to
good?
force it.
This is a few years before the litmus test. I think.
What's that? What's
If
that?
I get on the floor and shine under it, is there like a gap for me to see like under? See if there's anything like blocking, like on the other side.
There is
like,
necessarily a gap, but it's quite small, and you can try. But what was that, Thaddeus? Really quick.
I was just gonna try to force it, just to give it a good shoulder and put his strength behind it, because he's like, Elias doesn't seem like a very big guy.
He is not a big guy, but as you like are walking towards it, because you're a big guy, Elias like nods his head, or is like, "All right, we got the same idea. Come on." He turns the handle, ready to go for it, and Gabe, you can check in just a moment. And the two of you together start pounding into the door. Can you roll strength or size for me? Whichever one you're more comfortable rolling.
Oh,
Strength
size! I
is-
have that.
I got 5 more points of strength, so
Bigger than
I'll
my
spend the 4 luck. I'm just whatever.
Are you sure you don't want to spend the 40 luck to get extreme success?
I'm sure I don't want to spend 44. That's almost all of my luck.
So with you and Jackson combined, and you're like slamming into it in unison, you don't feel like the wall, like it's moving at all. It is as if it is a wall. But you, Gabe, you can tell that it's not, because you don't feel any give, Thaddeus and Elias. But Gabe, who's like getting down on his knees and like trying to look under it, whenever they slam into it, it doesn't move, but a little bit of a fluid comes from the bottom of it as if it has displaced something. Think what Thaddeus was stepping like, only, now it's on the door.
Gotcha. So guys, when you try that, there's like this liquid, and if I look there, can I like is the liquid tangible after it's gone, or does it get sucked back in?
It gets sucked back in, but not like it's not like that. It's just like think of it as like a very gentle wave.
Okay. So if you guys try again, I might be able to catch some, and I pull out another real container.
Yeah.
Just like, trying to get it.
Jackson like rolls his eyes and like puts himself against the door. Thaddeus, I assume we're with this.
Mm-hmm.
One more big smash, and then you do manage to capture a little bit into your
So I
canister.
get it, and then I seal it so that we can like see it still.
You definitely cannot see it. Remember, light will destroy film, so your canister is very opaque.
Oh yeah, that's true. I keep thinking of the like gray ones that you can partially see through.
No, it is the most opaque something can be.
You're right.
What you doing, Arwell, at this point?
Well, I'm assuming I'm kind of done with my light read, so I want to go upstairs and investigate where my bags are at, I guess.
Sure, you'll find them.
You guys also hear us thumping the door.
Yeah, just like rhythmically slamming into it.
I mean, there's a difference between bending something and breaking something, so Orwell's not that worried.
So you're gonna go upstairs and you're gonna go find your bags. You're gonna find them in the closest guest bedroom. You're not gonna have to walk around the balcony.
Okay, cool.
What are you doing, Joseph? Now that you've done... There's a lot of noise going on. He's hammering stuff. You guys are slamming doors.
Okay, so I hammered fennel into the piece of fennel into the door frame, and I also shoved some in the keyhole because that's to keep away snakes and witches.
Mm-hmm. Oh God.
Not that I really believe that. I believe it's more of a luck thing. Joseph has a weird relationship with luck. And then he decides that he's just going to start looking on his own, using his own meticulous nature. But he's going to start on the east side of the house because the east side is luckier than the west side of the house. So he's going to go to the east, whatever the most east room from where he's at is.
Well, the most east rooms upstairs or down?
I'm in downstairs because I had to do this at the front door.
That makes sense. Is going to be pantry, storage, and study. Is there one that you'd prefer to start with?
No, not really.
Great. We'll go into the pantry and we'll work our way down over time. So you go into the pantry and it's a pantry. There's not a whole lot interesting in here other than there is some wheat and maybe some more like less perishable foods, but they are in bags that seem to be ripped open and spilled. So there's just some like grainy material on the floor in here.
Okay. And that's just spilled all over the floor.
Yeah. At this point, real quick, Elias looks over at Thaddeus and Gabe and is like, I don't think we're going to get much farther with that.
I got an axe.
Question. In the photo, there's a crack right in front of the sinks to the side of that door, like the wall there. Is that actually present?
No, but good try. Maybe we can progress to that point, Thaddeus. I think we should. I like where you're going with it, but maybe not immediately.
The wall might be weaker than this door. Does it look like drywall or stone?
Is drywall a thing at this time?
Hey Joseph, can you roll me a dexterity check?
Sure.
Interested in this empty room.
Success. Well, that's good. Right on the dot too, it seems.
Yes.
Because you exit the pantry and you go into the storeroom. When you enter into the storeroom, the general seemingly waterloggedness of this entire situation seems to be worse in this room. And that becomes immediately obvious when the floor gives out from under you and falls into the basement. You jump out of the way, but now there is just a hole cracked and rotten through the wood into a portion of the basement directly under you.
I am breathing very heavily and like checking myself over to make sure I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then Joseph pulls out a penny and throws it in the hole for good luck.
I'm assuming
I dig
this
it.
noise is loud, correct?
Yeah, it's similar to the plaster, but much louder, and everyone hears that.
And I'm listening for how long it takes the penny to hit whatever's down there.
It's almost immediate.
Okay.
Like another
From
four.
my brow in relief.
It's not an oubliette.
Arwell's gonna come down to the kitchen and investigate the noise.
Sure, you'll find Joseph in the storage room, kind of looking down into a black pit.
I do a once over, and I'm assuming he's fine because he's standing and not in pain.
I'll go over with my torch and
Yeah.
look down too.
When you look down, you see that this obviously goes down into the basement, but this is specifically like a coal storeroom, obviously, because you can see the door like downstairs, like looking down, you can see a door that would presumably go into the rest of the basement, right? And then opposite side of that door, closer to where you're standing, but above it, is just a pile of coal.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yep. Looking down, you see a coal room. But I mean, Elias kind of leans over and goes, "Well, that's I think the Dodge brothers are going to be disappointed in the state of the house by the end of this."
I'm
I was
pretty sure their
disappointed with-
expectation could not go any lower than it already has.
I look for is there a broom in the storage room?
Sure.
Okay. I start to sweep the storage room as I'm pondering.
I'd like to go either check out the study or the empty room myself.
Who else was in the room with me?
I mean, everybody kind of made their way over here. Elias was there.
Who's the strongest looking fellow in the room?
Thaddeus.
Me? Oh.
Thaddeus or Arwell?
I have a strength of 80 and a size of 75.
Him.
Thaddeus,
take
could
it.
you lower me down into the hole?
I can try.
I don't think that's a great idea. We might
What
not be able to get you back up though. The
Well,
door
you're
doesn't work.
What do you mean the door?
Well,
doesn't-
looking down, there's no liquid in there, right? Because you got your flashlight and you can see down there.
But can
and
we lift him back up?
maybe the coal is high enough that it is like half the room.
Okay, look. if we're concerned about him, I'll just go down with him, and then if worst comes worst, I can lift him up. Like,
I
I
wasn't
think
sure how.
it's a bad idea.
why? It's a cold
If
room.
anyone should be dropped, it's the light one that can be picked up easily.
I'm not a very
But
heavy
still
old
saying,
man. I'm gonna go down the hole because that's I'm the one who created the hole technically, I think, and it would be bad luck if anyone else went in first.
Sure.
So
the old man.
I asked Thaddeus to lower me down into the hole, and if it's really deep, I was gonna use the broom to like hold on to for him to lower me down, but I guess it's not that deep, so
It's definitely think about like reaching into a whole floor above you, but as if you have half of the first floor filled with a unstable base. So
right.
if Thaddeus helps, you'll probably be able to make it down.
Okay. I'm still gonna hold the broom on so I have something like in hand, I guess.
It's better. It's better. It's comforting.
Yes,
It's
exactly.
It's your safety broom.
Are you letting him down, Thaddeus?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we all stand around, and Elias is like just so pleased at this image of a large lumberjack lowering an old man down into a hole with a broom.
Why does he have to imagine? It's right in front of him.
And then you go down into the hole. It's very dark down here, and pretty much all the light you have is coming from the hole you made above.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get your footing because it's coal, and it's a very small room. But you're down there.
I ask if I can get a flashlight tossed toward me, try to catch it.
Beat him with.
I'm not giving up my torch.
Does anyone else have any other light source that's not flammable?
Elias rolls his eyes and like pulls out a lighter. Don't lose this; it's sentimental. And he like tosses it down to you.
Thank you. I catch it. Hopefully. Do you want me to
It's fine.
check
No,
that?
that's good.
Okay. And I light it to
gonna-
take a look around to see if there's anything that shows why this would collapse suddenly.
How much
or
coal
anything like
dust is in the air?
that. Yeah, that was what I was afraid of, but I got a lighter now. I guess I'm gonna use it.
Rob doesn't want the TPK.
So the reason why that isn't an issue is because it looks like there's a lot of water damage in this area, obviously. And whatever coal dust would be here is wet.
Yeah.
So you're in a dirt floor, and it's like, you know how really, really dry dirt, almost sand like, you put like a drop of water on it and it doesn't quite become mud, it's just like that strange substance that's in between. That's what the floor is like. And with your light, as you look around, there is essentially a ramp of coal that leads back up to the hole that you came in. And directly opposite that, behind you, is the door that presumably leads into the basement. That's really all that's in here. I guess maybe like a shovel too?
Arwell's gonna go down the kitchen steps and just see if the door works.
Oh, you mean the door at the kitchen that doesn't work?
So
Yeah,
Arwell
they just tried that. Didn't they?
Arwell goes to the door and like he turns the handle and tries to keep going and realizes that it doesn't move.
Okay, Arwell comes back up.
What do you?
I try to open the door from the coal room door down here. See if it opens.
It doesn't move.
Oh well.
The handle turns freely, but you can't push into, presumably, the basement.
Can't push into, and I'm assuming it's not just a pull door that I don't know the instructions for.
Right. No,
Okay.
You'd be in the basement and pull towards you, so you have to push it out in this case.
Well, darn, this door is stuck too. I just kind of say out loud to myself because I kind of spend way too much time in exhibits by myself, so I just kind of chatter away.
Mm-hmm.
And out of another superstition, I knock on the door 3 times, and then turn around and go back up the coal thing. And ask for help to get out.
When you do that, when you knock on the door, everyone who's there can roll listen for this. Listen or intelligence, whichever is better for you.
Intelligence.
What do I got?
Oh,
Got him.
Okay, at least one of you, because presumably you're going to tell.
He hates me.
Yeah, you are not doing great. All right, so if you, at least one of you succeeded this, because obviously the rest of you will be able to tell each other. But those who succeed, what you notice is When you knock on a door, there should be the sound of a empty cavity on the other side, whereas this definitely sounds like it's just knocking on something very solid.
Huh.
I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna go knock on the kitchen door and see if it sounds the same.
It sounds similar.
Well,
Thick
now that's
door.
just odd.
At this point, Elias shouts, "Hey, Joseph!
Yes?
What was the name of that book?"
The Missing People by Thomas Pratt?
He comes from the study holding that book. I think I found it.
Oh, wonderful. Help me get out of this hole and I'll take a look.
Thaddeus, would you mind?
I don't mind.
I hope I'll help.
He slaps you on the shoulder. Thank you so much, Thaddeus.
I just reach down like this giant. Hold on tight.
I hold on mildly because I don't think I can do hold on tight.
Mm-hmm. You
I
exit.
need to roll for that, but
No, it's fine. Probably if I wanted to be mean, but it's whatever.
It's okay. The bad rolls are coming. I can feel it.
hopefully
Hold
my
on.
good rolls are coming eventually.
In theory.
Well, this is gonna be shitty, so forgive me, but you find this, the missing people. This is a brief overview of what's in there. But more specifically, where it says Great Dome, you can it's the Great Pyramid. I'm doing some retcon.
Edits. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm assuming I spend the next little bit like reading and figuring out this information while people do other things.
Sure, that sounds great with me. What's Arwell, Thaddeus, and Gabe doing?
Do you want me to read the summary for the stream?
No, I can zoom in on it, and that's fine with me.
Okay.
I guess I'm gonna go upstairs and go in the trophy room to see what he's hunted in the past. Just see if anything's like South African origin or if there's a plaque that says anything.
Sure. So if you're gonna head back upstairs, one second. Talk amongst yourselves.
I'd like to look at the book as well with you. Mainly because
Sure.
the summary has an image, an icon on it that interests me.
Sure. Talk amongst
Yeah,
yourselves.
Joseph has no problem.
Thaddeus has lit his pipe.
Also, was the book actually published in 1913?
That timeline's fine.
Okay. So let's see. This book considers.
I'm assuming as long as it's not the future, we're okay.
Yeah.
It's true. I need things to happen prior to 1919.
So
So that symbol there,
Mhm.
have you ever seen that symbol before?
We'll say yes, and it was in some of his notes, sprawled on the books in the library.
yes, and I show him some of the notes from earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like, I want to like appraise the book. What's appraise do again?
Appraise
find
is
value.
more like actually finding value. If you want to like
Okay.
read the book, that's going to take a little bit of time, and you'll eventually discover that and a few other things about it.
Does the book seem to have been affected by the moistness of the house?
There are
Is the study particularly moist, or
those are good questions, and Elias
Let's go
looks
to
at
the
you.
study and look at the book.
Elias follows you in there. Yeah, so the study is also not in great condition, but yeah, the book has some weird stains on it. You can tell at a glance.
now is it mostly empty because he donated so many books, or is it like still very full? Did he just have that many that he basically gave half a library and still has some?
Well, this is a study. There's also the library on the other side of the house.
It's true, and the library, as you
Oh, I'm
guys have
sorry, I
been
got
like walking
confused.
around, the library is still pretty full. But unlike the library in town, where it is like 60% stuff on archaeology, anthropology, and South America, here it's like 90%, and it's not.
Oh, wonderful.
It's not empty. There's so much.
Um, is this the type of book that would have like citations in the back of like other people referenced? Like,
That is a great question. And that is something I'm going to answer after it has been read.
I will just be reading it.
Okay.
So I was gonna say, while
Good
he's
at.
reading it, I'd like to see if there's any other books by cited authors in the study for me to also look for.
Sure. So you're going to go to the library and check to see what else he's got?
Well, so I was gonna start in the study because I assume there's maybe other related books to this one book. So like if he was researching this topic, I assume if he did his reading in the study, he may have another 2 or 3 books.
That was kind of my plan, was to read this book and then cross-reference it with other stuff he might have, because that's kind of what my character's good at. So, but I would appreciate help.
That's fair. Well, you can look around the study and see pretty easily that there's not too many other books in here. Cornthwaite, despite whatever problems he had, he tried to make sure that he was pretty orderly and read 1 or 2 books at a time. There's a few other books in here for sure, but they're not really related to this. So as you head over to the library to try to okay, well, let's see if there's anything else interesting about that. The door slams open, the front door, and Whitford comes in with pistol drawn and sees you and is shouting, "What is going on here?"
That's the sheriff?
That is the sheriff.
If it's sort of me, I just immediately raise my hands to show I'm unarmed, except for a book.
And drop the book.
No, I think I hold on to the book.
Sure.
But I don't think. So it's extra awkward. So I'm like,
I feel startled me may have taken a photo of like, oh god.
Oh
God, don't do that.
Roll a luck. Roll a luck.
Orwell, go talk to the
just say,
sheriff.
I'm up in the trophy room.
The
Sir.
Dodge brothers let us into the house to look if we could find what happened to this person, because they're the lawyers of Arthur.
Any of that in writing?
Well, to get to Arwell real quick, by the time you get up into the to the trophy room, that as you test that handle, because I was doing that with explaining that book, as you test that handle is locked. Not like the ones downstairs where you could turn the handle, but for some reason you couldn't move them. That handle is just locked. And as you test that handle, the door slams open, and then you hear that.
Orwell sighs and then starts going down the stairs to meet up with everyone.
What you up to?
Solo adventures.
Where are you, Thaddeus, at this point?
So we were all in the study, correct?
Yes.
And this was the front door.
Yep.
Is the study on the second floor?
No, it's in the very bottom right-hand corner of the first floor.
Oh, I see. Yeah, so that just be kind of leaning on that corner.
Just looking over, yeah.
The front door, he's got his pipe. Evening, Sheriff.
Why is everyone here?
Don't we have the letter from the attorneys saying why we're here?
They did not explicitly give you a letter, no.
Oh, I thought there was that Dodge Brothers Attorneys at Law one that we have, that first one in the...
No, that's a summons.
Yeah, you have a letter of general summons, but it's definitely not anything legal. But you do have this, yes.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say the Dodge brothers let us in to Arthur's house as they're his lawyers, and told us to look around, as some of us knew Arthur in life, and see if we can find out what happened to him. I've never reason to lie
earlier,
lying, so.
Whitford rolls his eyes and puts his gun away. The Dodge brothers let you in here?
Yes.
And how long do you plan on staying?
I mean,
So
I
we're
look
done?
around at the terrible condition of the place. I'm not planning to stay here long. I have a nice hotel room.
Well, there is a townhouse in town. It's a great place to stay before you leave. Look, there's a lot of things. This house has a lot of history, and I don't like this history. And
would I be aware of any of the history of this house?
Roll history.
Oh yeah, I have history. Can I do that?
Okay.
Sure. You were at the library.
History. Well, I was saying because I live here.
Whoa.
I succeeded with the fact.
He's taking all of Thaddeus's luck.
Yeah.
That's fine.
At this point, for the first time, Gabe turns to everyone and says over his shoulder, "Oh yeah, so this house has a pretty colored history. There was a Union soldier from the Civil War who came back from the war and killed his family and then himself, and then the house sat vacant for a while. After that, there was another man who killed his family and was never found, and then the house was vacant for a while, and eventually Cornthright bought it, but that was several years ago, even before the trip to South America." At this point, Whitford is able to corroborate a bunch of that and yes, and it is a damn shame that we're never able to find the murderer, and especially in the second case. His name is Culler, and
Spelled with you or without you?
you.
Okay.
No,
But I'm on something else. I got a question since this came tonight. Have any of you heard anything particularly strange, especially since you've been here tonight?
Ooh, go to the kitchen door and try to open it.
Heard anything strange other than 6 people wandering around an old house? No, other than there's some floorboards that collapsed in the kitchen. That was startling.
They're not strange.
I
Yeah,
don't know if
funny
that's
doors, funny
strange, 'cause I don't
floorboards.
know how old or well kept this house was. It looks like it wasn't well kept.
Well, that doesn't help me.
Well, I think what we're getting at is what kind of strange.
Neighbor nearby, his horse died. Pretty gruesome. Seems to have happened pretty recently. And I'm just making the rounds, asking if anybody was nearby. The gate to the Fitzgerald estate was open. Don't know how that happened. So I figured I'd come up here and see who's trespassing. And then I unfortunately found you.
Well, I'm sorry. Didn't believe we were trespassing. I thought this was all above board.
Yeah, that seems to be true.
But really, can you go try to open the door?
He kind of looks at you with exasperation. What?
We're
Take a
having
chip
some
sauce?
trouble. We're having some trouble with the basement door, and we were just wondering if there is a weird superstition about locals only opening up basements or something.
Did you?
I thought you two were gonna ask the sheriff to help because he's a fairly strong, strapping man.
That's what I was going for, yeah.
He doesn't quite outwardly actually sigh, but he closes his eyes and becomes a little more dejected. He walks to the kitchen because he knows exactly where it is. He's been in this house many times. Turns the handle and then tries to push the door open and then doesn't. And then tries it a couple more times. Gives it a shrug. It's stuck. It's fine.
I walk up and knock on the door. It's like, these things are sure solid, huh?
Yeah, I guess. Are you looking for something in the basement now?
Can't get in the basement.
I found what I was looking for. I held up the book. I was like, are you going by the library by chance?
No.
This is a 3-year-old book that was checked out at the library that had never been returned, and I was looking for it for the librarian, and I found it, so I was going to return it.
Give it to the boy. I'm not an errand runner.
I know, I just figured you were doing the rounds, you said, and the town's not that big. I figured the library might be on the stop.
He leaves you. Look, I need you all not to stay too long. It's not just for me. It's probably for your own benefit, too. There's a lot of things said about this place.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of murder here.
Yeah,
Oh,
there is.
which neighbor had the incident?
I'm sorry?
Which neighbor had the incident with the animal?
The one
I
to
love
the
animals.
east.
The horse. You love it so much, you forget the species.
The one to the east?
Yeah, okay.
Is that the same side that the shed was in when we came?
Yes, but that seems more like a coincidence because the shed is really close to the house anyway.
Fair enough. All right. I just walk to the door with the van and wave goodbye at him, I guess.
I'm gonna go back to the trophy room and then try and lockpick the door.
So like people like feel like they're done talking to Whitford, and Elias at this point is just like staying with him, just like we're gonna do the best that we can. Thaddeus, you've been quiet. What have you been up to?
Just watching all this unfold. He's already talked to this man. He has nothing more to say.
I
I know where
Jared
this is
have
going.
a shady past. I don't like checkered past. I'm not cool. Like the less he's here, the better.
I want to make sure that you do not, though real. Ethan, do you feel like you're doing too little? Are you good?
I'm good.
Excellent. So then,
This character has things he does.
I-
We haven't gotten to things yet.
He's not rolled well.
Elias, Elias manages to smooth it over with Whitford, and he like shakes his hand and shuts the door behind him, turns around and shouts to the house in general. Busy house tonight.
I say, yep.
You go try the trophy room door again. It's still locked.
Have we tried the crowbar yet?
Oh,
Oh wait, sorry, I don't know the crowbar exists. I shouldn't have said that.
I don't know anything about the door being locked. I'm looking into. I was about to go into the library, which I'm going to continue doing.
Yeah, so you go into the library, and it's similar to the study in that it is would be a really nice place to like lounge, and read, but I need you to roll power for me.
Ooh.
Which one is that?
Who's
It's
going?
POW of characteristic.
John is.
Extremo.
Ooh.
Extreme success.
John cannot fail tonight.
No.
So far we had. It's
Why'd
only
you
power.
jinx it?
So you walk into the library. You've been in the library before, but now, similar to what Arwell had felt, but I don't think told anyone, or described, it all feels so much more close, just slightly more claustrophobic. And it, with your extreme success, what you managed to find is you go towards the walls and like you touch it, and then almost as if like water, a liquid, is coming through paper. You push it, and this liquid sheen comes out the other side like osmosis.
Huh.
But the library didn't feel like this before.
Weird.
Definitely.
I
weird.
will. What's Ethan's again? Thaddeus. Thaddeus,
Yeah.
come and feel the wall.
All right. Put a hand on it.
Does it feel like moist to you?
Oh,
Or
for
like-
sure.
Like a strange squishiness.
I don't know what kind of wood they used to build this place, but that ain't right.
I didn't notice it when I was first in here. When I came in earlier, it seems different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna I let him know, and because I don't know anything about it, and I'm just gonna continue looking for books with that symbol on it if I can.
Sure.
The little like
Make a library use.
camera flash.
Yeah, Thaddeus would take that information to Elias because he seems like he knows stuff about things.
There's my fail.
Elias looks at you. Yeah, no, I've definitely seen some. I've been seeing that. It's strange in here. I don't know what's that about. But if you'd like to come with me, I'm gonna go find Joseph, get my lighter back, and see what that shed is about. All
Sure.
right, so
I'll
then
go grab my axe.
you have an axe in your just in your belongings.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you do. I
got
love
a-
it.
I got
yeah,
a
yeah.
woodcutter's axe and a double barrel.
So you go upstairs to go fetch those. You made sure you packed them away. Elias finds Joseph. Joseph, where are you?
I was in the library. I was trying to cross-reference things in the book with other books.
You can
That's
also do
fine.
a library use.
Character sheet. Library use.
I could have done a chemistry roll.
You don't find anything specific, which is disappointing. But based on what you've learned about Pratt, and you are semi-familiar with Jackson Elias's works about, he writes on cults and other death groups and stuff like that. So you obviously don't find anything even close to scientific, especially with what Mrs. Arwell was saying about Pratt, the author. But you do manage to find like an occult book that mentions it a couple times, but even you, who's been like a curator of a museum for a while, can tell that this is like someone who knows just enough to be dangerous. Like the book isn't particularly helpful, but you're able to understand better that the book that Cornthwaite was reading had to do with South American mythology of death.
Gotcha. Also, just offhand, I wanted to know if I found any of Jackson's works in this library.
You didn't.
Darn.
But that might be because Cornthwaite has been too busy in the most recent years.
That's fair.
And while you're in the library doing that, and you see Thaddeus like pressing his hand against the wall, and everybody else is just kind of like looking at it like, isn't that so weird? Elias comes up to you and goes, "Hey, Joseph, can I get my lighter back?"
I hand him his lighter back. Thank you so much for letting me borrow it.
Thank you. I'm gonna need it. Gabe seems pretty attached to his flashlight, but we're gonna go look at the shed. Thaddeus and Elias go outside, and they go out the front door, and they're gonna go towards the shed. Does anyone want to do anything before they continue that?
Can I get into the trophy room?
You can check the door again, and it's still locked.
Can I locksmith the door open?
Sure, you can attempt.
Yeah. Whoops. Sorry. I did it.
Very good. Tell me about how you break in.
So, with my hoodlum days, I was able to remember how to just lockpick the door with some forks that I found in the kitchen, just hammering out with my pistol butt, I guess, from upstairs, and just hammering into like those lockpick things. I don't know what the names are called. But with some trial and error, I was actually able to successfully get it open with only a few scratches, so it only looks like old wear and tear instead of someone breaking in or again.
As the door swings open, the hair on the back of your neck stands up, and you see inside the trophy room small pedestals, museum-like, containing artifacts from a culture that you don't understand. The window curtains are drawn here, and what little light is remaining in the day is starting to go away. The trophy room feels like there's something wrong here, and it has lots of different curiosities strewn around.
I remember who I should talk with. I go downstairs and get Joseph.
Gabe, you want to do something?
I was with Joseph just trying to figure out the books. I'll follow up to the hunting room.
Great, you're guys gonna go up to the trophy room. Thaddeus and Elias make it out to the shed, and it is a it's disconnected from the rest of the house. Think of like a modern day, like super flimsy sheet metal shed, but made of wood and just kind of like left there.
Yeah.
Okay.
You approach the shed. It's got one of those flaps with the lock on it, and the lock is gone. It's where a lock should be, so it's pretty easy to just kind of like open it up.
Okay.
As Elias opens the door, the shed is extremely dark inside as there is no light. Elias pulls out his lighter, flicks it on, and because now you're looking for it at this point, you can see that same recognizable sheen, strange reflection of something strange. But rather than being like everywhere, it's mostly on the outside and a little on the inside and all towards the ground. Looking inside, you can see that there are lots of tools here, a pickaxe, a rake, and stuff like that. This is clearly a gardener's shed.
Thaddeus is going to take his axe.
Yeah.
He's going to put it against the bottom of the shed where it has that sheen to it. And he's just going to kind of kick it and see how the wood reacts to, some force from an axe.
Sure. Imagine...
Like, it'll leave a little indent.
Yeah.
Where it would, but it doesn't look like somebody's just tried to chop the thing down.
Right. Imagine, like, cardboard that has been completely waterlogged with like clear glue, right? So when you kick it and with your axe, when you hit it, it has it's a little harder to leave the dent than it would normally. But when you do, a little seeps down and very slowly. Now that you're looking for it over time, you can watch just a portion of it like slowly drip now that you've left a dent.
Yeah, Thaddeus will just kind of make a grunting sound and just be like, God ain't here. Put the axe over his shoulder.
Elias looks around and he goes, "You know what else ain't here?" And he points up to one of those boards that has like the many holes in it where you can hang up tools. There's not an axe in here. And you can see the imprint of where an axe used to be. Though I suppose there ain't much else in here, I guess. I was hoping for more.
Yeah.
All right. The two of you just
You
kind of
don't
like,
think
go ahead.
that is be like, you don't think he'll kind of put his axe where the axe should be. You're like, too many radio serials. Trigger a secret door.
As you go for that, like Elias is like behind you and he's like smiling to himself, like, all right. You put it up there, and then it gets real tense. And you look back and you look at Elias, and he looks at you. Mm-hmm. You look back at the axe. No, you take your axe back. I like it. All right. So they're done with that. You guys are in the trophy room. Tell me what you're doing in the trophy room.
I get in, I see it's super cool, and I take a picture.
Fantastic. As I said, it's darker than most other places, especially now that it is getting darker outside anyway, but to Joseph, it is immediately obvious that most of these artifacts, while not something that you're necessarily like super familiar with, are funerary in nature.
Oh.
I want to either use. I don't know what would be the right skill to use here.
What do you want to do?
I kind of just want to peruse the artifacts and either look for something that I saw similar to something mentioned in something I've read recently, or kind of use my praise and just find what like the most valuable or like oldest looking thing is, whether it's by how it looks itself or like how it's arranged in the room. Because I have an eye for how to arrange artifacts. So
for sure.
I just want to note, I took a photo before we interacted with the room at all, really.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. Appraise would work, history would work, anthropology would work. If you're happy with any of those.
I'm happy with all but anthropology. I have a 1 in anthropology.
So anthropology.
You got all the history, but you don't know jack shit about people.
People are awful.
Alright, go hang me the history roll.
Sure.
Okay,
And what
nice.
were you trying to understand? You're just trying to like get a general knowledge of it all?
Yeah, just trying to get it like an idea of what. I know it's a funeral thing, and also just if anything stood out to me.
Sure. Most of the artifacts in this room. So because like this new age idea of like wanting to be interested in almost everything about other cultures, like Egyptology is starting to get really hot. So it's really easy to just look at all the artifacts like these are South American, but you can look at them and kind of see that most of them are Peruvian. There's a few others, but most of them are primarily Peruvian. They range in age to many hundreds of years ago to actually not all that long ago. It's just that black people have a new culture that's new to us.
Yeah.
But definitely the one that is the most interesting, which is the one that like as you're looking at it and you feel compelled to touch it. Do you?
Oh, yes.
As you reach and you go for it, it's a pot, like most things are in archaeology. And as you pick it up and you can find that same symbol from the missing people that Gabe was looking for on the bottom of the pot where it rests. and you can tell that this is among the oldest artifacts and is Peruvian in nature. And it doesn't have a whole lot else attached to it, but you can tell that the iconography on it has, like, imagine a large circle, like on the sides of it now. It has a large circle, and then it has a stepped pyramid above that circle.
Interesting.
That's what you got about that. Feel free to take those notes.
Large circle above a step pyramid. Can do. Okay.
Remember how I said? Well, actually, I'll tell that joke later. Anybody doing anything else?
Orwell, or no. Who am I? Nope. I'm getting confused with who I am.
You are Arwell Parish.
Thank you. Arwell's going to take out the artifact that he stole from some house when he was the hoodlum.
Yeah.
And starting to compare it to other artifacts to see if there's any linking towards anything.
Not immediately.
I'm really hoping this is like a fake Ming vase you stole from somebody who thought it was valuable.
Oh, it could be. What do you say? I'm sorry.
Not immediately, no.
Okay, I'm gonna keep trying until I run into Joseph, and then I ask Joseph for more help.
I'd like to try to do a spot hidden, see if there's any, like, it's trophy room. There may be somewhere that's like he keeps his precious items.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a spot hidden.
Nice.
That's a fail, and I am not spending the luck.
So, at this point, you guys have explored most of the downstairs, definitely, right? By the way, the empty room that you guys have surely checked out has a lot of scuff marks on the floorboards, and you'd be able to tell is like a dancing floor.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Right? It's not just a strangely empty room. You've checked out most of the rooms, and as I said, my one-shot RPGs tend to go too many sessions because we're already at 10:30, and I already tell that it's going to go way too long. But I'm going to leave you with this. Elias, like, everybody kind of meets up into the trophy room, and Elias is there, and he looks around, and everybody sees him all at the same time, kind of have like the same dawning expression. It's like, hey, didn't we? Varelli's car is still outside. Where's Varelli?
Which one was Varelli?
He's the
photographer.
The photographer.
Whoops.
Wasn't he talking with the Dodge brothers?
Yeah, but that stopped.
Yeah, that was done a while ago.
And the Dodge brothers
That was the
left.
last place I perceived.
I
Was
was
he
reading
here when the
books, I wasn't
sheriff
paying
was here?
attention.
Say again?
Was he here when the sheriff was here?
No.
I didn't see him.
You reckon he went off and killed a horse?
Did you guys? You guys
We
aren't
haven't
here for me to ask. I was
We
gonna say,
haven't
did
came
you
across
guys
him. I don't
see him
think.
on the way to the shed?
No.
I explored the whole house and I lost track.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He was running around doing stuff.
Did he fall into the coal? The coal
We would have heard
storage room?
that. If unless he died in impact, I'm pretty sure we'd hear him. Or he is that polite he does not want to disturb our investigation.
Just
As-
he's just standing there,
He's
just waiting for
certainly
someone.
not that polite.
No,
as you're realizing this and you're all just doing, like, I assume you're going to do like a very cursory, just like, hey, hold on, where's Varelli? Yes or no?
Yeah.
We'll say that it doesn't take long because you exit the trophy room, go to the upstairs balcony. Someone takes a peek inside what is called the den there, and you don't see Varelli necessarily, but you do see a pile of clothes and bones, and you recognize the clothes as Varelli's. They are bloodstained, and the rest of him is missing. Can everybody please roll sanity?
What if I just don't interact with this portion? Do I still go insane?
Take a picture of it regardless. So like,
So-
insanity ensued.
That's a lot of a person missing.
That's my
Oh, shit, that was
that's my
luck.
only success.
Yeah.
Thaddeus is unfazed.
Ooh. Wait, why luck?
I clicked the wrong one.
If you fail, go ahead and lose a D4. if you succeeded, actually, who succeeded?
I did.
Everyone but John.
Ben,
Uh-huh.
you lose 1. Gabriel and Arwell lose a D4. Thaddeus, you succeeded. But by virtue of this being your first successful roll tonight and being who he is, he loses no sanity. And he's just like, that's a lot of a man missing.
What do I do to roll 1d4 again?
I've
Just
butchered
slash
enough
dice.
carcasses, it's not that big of a deal.
Go in the dice in the upper left, and then
That is scary. I just want to say this.
Oh, that's cool.
He's just-
Say hotkey stuff.
He just doesn't express
out
it,
in
is the
middle of
thing.
nowhere, Yeah.
Roll. I lose a 1.
Okay, so after you lose your sanity and those of you like gasp and look at it, we're going to end this with basically just looking at the complete bones of a person, not laid out in a nice skeleton, just still wet, his clothes covered in that same viscous fluid, just clothes, non-organic material, and his bones and some ligature puddled in the den. That's where we're going to stop.
I'm suitably spooked.
Rob, I just want to say when you said organic, bones are organic. So
Non-organic matter, meaning his clothes.
but you said bones. Okay, never mind.
Because
Being
bones are
confused.
big and hard and chunky. And
Yeah.
I know what happened, but you don't.
This is fair.
All right, so how are we feeling?
I'm having
Feeling
fun.
good.
All right, very
Mhm.
cool.
My brain's a little slow today, but it's been good.
Yeah, it's a little. Tonight was a little weird for me too, and it's a little bit shorter. So let's have a quick chat. The typical roses and thorns. We're gonna run through it pretty fast, and this might be expedited in the future. But what did Ben do that we liked that we didn't like? I really like the committal to his superstitious thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'm trying to figure out a way to play that and not make it too annoying. I'm still figuring that out.
Yeah.
I have 9 photos left.
So far, I think you've been doing really well with that, and it's not been intrusive at all.
Yeah.
I'm most interested in the fact that they're like I don't know if they're real superstitions like in the real world, but like they're unique enough that they're interesting to me.
Yeah, I literally went on Wikipedia for a big list of superstitions and just kind of randomly chose like 10 of them and wrote them down for reference. So
I dig it.
they're all real.
I'm into it.
Weird, but they're real.
Okay, how about Alan? What did you do that we liked that we want to see more of?
Arwell's sketchy, and I'm into it.
Arwell is sketchy.
Yeah, I'm into the sketch.
Thaddeus is really not into it.
No, that's fair. I sometimes I need that thing when like characters don't interact. I'm like, I don't know if I'm doing this right. No one's talking with me.
I appreciate the sketchiness. I also appreciate that his character is very like active and driven, like I would expect a character like that to be.
Yeah.
He's
Like, my
definitely
character's kind of
fulfilling his role.
meandering old man, kind of doing his own thing.
It is. This isn't even a critique. Don't think that. It's a fun little thing. It is a little harder on me where it's like, I'm an investigator. I check the downstairs, all of it, all at once. And I'm like, whoa, you gotta slow down.
No, like when
I have a
usually-
blurb for each of these rooms.
No, usually what I mean by that is like whenever you think it's good for tension, just have me explore a room. What I mean by that.
Yeah,
That's-
my understanding of time is super loosey goosey in this game, as you've seen.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm assuming. So like just go to the most interesting room that my character would think of. Which if you want more direction, just let me know instead of saying I explore everything.
How about John? Or what do you do that we liked? I actually really like that he's keeping diligent notes of how many photos he has left. And it's also presumably what they are too, right?
I'm getting a good journalist vibe from John's character. I've been
Mhm.
enjoying that. He's at like the other end of inquisitiveness.
Mm-hmm.
Found a strange thing and he lashed onto it and he's going for it. I like
Mhm.
that.
I really like it. Just John's character in general. I want him to interact a bit more with the players. I want to say, but I don't think that happened a lot. In this mission.
I forget that he's 15, but it doesn't even bother me because I think that's part of his character. He's just like, I'm grown, I'm an adult, treat me like one, and I think that's fun.
I actually did not know. Or I
You're all
forgot.
whippersnappers compared to me, so
Yeah, this is like we have like the perfect betrayal at the haunted house
yeah.
group.
Yep.
How about Ethan? What do you do that we liked?
I like Thaddeus has a very distinct mannerism of talking and dealing with situations.
I agree.
Mhm.
Like he's
He's
very matter of
excited to
fact,
see him.
straightforward, and he doesn't push when something's clearly not working. He's just like,
Yeah.
okay, that didn't
You
work.
know, I was going for somebody who lives in the middle of nowhere and doesn't talk to people that often.
It
No,
works.
that's fair.
So he's like, "This is a transaction we're having. I'm going to ask you questions that you can either say yes or no, and then that's it."
That's actually how I interact
Con-
a lot of times at work.
Conversations are merely transactions.
They really are.
And then
I'm liking it.
I really like Thaddeus. The only thing I would say, and it's just me, is like, man, I hope I'm not boring Ethan because he hasn't done a lot yet.
I'm totally chill.
Ethan's time is coming. We can
In
feel it.
character, I'm using Thaddeus to keep things grounded because he's been very grounded for me.
Gabe,
like-
every time something fucked happens, Gabe looks up at Thaddeus. He's like, should I react?
And where I've got the old man who's mystical and looking into that stuff, and I'm like, all right, yeah, we can look into this together. But when things get wonky, yo, Thaddeus, you
That-
seeing this?
Thaddeus he's got gears turning. He's getting less comfortable.
I want to be clear. Joseph doesn't believe in magic. He believes in superstition affecting luck.
Because these are clearly different things.
Yeah, in his
Yeah,
head, these are very different things.
The thing with Thaddeus is he's like a transcendentalist, so he's like God is in nature, and so things that aren't natural disturb him. He's like God's not here.
I like
And so this weird wood situation, he's like that's not natural.
And then how about me? What did I do that you liked? How do we do?
I like having Elias there.
You like Elias?
Elias is useful, yes.
Like I like having Elias is appropriate for this, right? Like he kind of knows what's going on, at least a little more, and so it's nice to have because I feel like none of us have a good context.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
characters don't have a good context for a Cthulhu mystery or
Right.
something like this, and so having Elias there, who's like, yeah, I can corroborate that is indeed strange.
I'm.
Yeah,
I like
have
that of Elias.
information.
Yeah, for sure.
Very cool.
Yep.
I'm glad that you like
Like,
Elias. I think Elias is fun.
Is weird for me because in the scenario we played through, Elias was deranged and in a asylum. So this
Yes.
is very different.
Yes.
Elias for me, the player, to deal with. So it's throwing me a bit.
He got better.
I don't
can
remember
tell.
much of Elias from ours.
No, because he
I
Jackson
think
we
Elias
met him.
had
cameoed.
us. No, he basically
We met him at the
cameoed.
hospital.
We met him in the hospital, and then he said hello, and then left and gave us a box.
And then you
we
guys
saw
never
him.
talked to him again.
Yeah, he was a plot device to give us this thing, and then he just bounced.
We immediately tried to break him out of an asylum at gunpoint in our scenario.
Oh my god.
That did not go well.
That is honestly one of my favorite scenarios I've run, by the way. They all both ended up being really good.
Yeah, they were both good. I enjoyed watching too.
And to be clear, the two that you guys played in different groups happened closer together in time, and the Jackson Elias of that is clearly in the past from now. So we're still moving forward in time.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
this is post Asylum Elias, who got a lot better really fast.
For some reason.
Anything else for me?
Nothing I can think of right now.
Cool.
I appreciate you giving us options of what we can do when we're floundering.
That's good.
That's very useful.
Oh, also sorry for not investigating as much as you like. Every time I play, just let's just go to the haunted place and just deal with it. We'll figure it out.
Don't worry, pretty soon we're not going to have haunted houses as our generic mystery.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not what I was upset with. I was
Um,
saying lack of investigation on our end.
I am really curious how you guys feel about this Myro board here. Because I'm going to be honest, I love it.
I'm digging it.
I wish all NPCs had a thing so I could name tag all of them, so it's easier for me to track them.
Yeah. So you're definitely going to get the really fun thing where some NPCs are going to have photos and some aren't. And well, shit, doesn't that just straight up tell you who may or may not be important?
Yeah, I know. It's really
Oh,
nice.
I was hoping we could find our own photos for them.
Go for it. In fact, you know what I
I'm
forgot
just
to
gonna
do?
find every picture of David Bowie throughout the years at every different age range. Just use like 10 Bowies.
This is when Jackson wasn't crazy.
Hold on.
Is this
We're
good enough for you guys or
missing-
no?
I am confused.
Who are we
Because-
Who we
missing?
missing?
Didn't I put in Whitford?
No,
Sheriff
you,
Whitford's on the map.
Yeah,
yeah,
Sheriff?
right here.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, he's in the I don't see him.
he's
right next
between
to Walter
Between
Dodge.
Walter Dodge and Miss Artwell.
Yeah, your mouse is right above him.
I don't see him.
Try reloading it.
Do not perceive him.
He's gone.
I see you just added Varelli though.
I did add Varelli.
Rip.
Oh, there's Virelli.
Oh well, he's dead now.
So
Yeah, can we get let's find a skeleton picture for him.
Wait, we can just draw on him, can't we?
so this is going to be the curious thing of like Masks is this really strange game because it is so massive that it is going to need a significant amount of like just talking about clues time. And if that happens on stream, I don't mind that. So do get ready at some point to be like, we need to actually parse these clues and see how things are connected.
I'm excited
Okay.
for that.
Because I'm also adding stuff in the prologues, and then once we get into Masks itself, it's just a constant flow of information. Which will also be like, don't be afraid to add sticky notes if I gave you information, if you have a new clue, but it's not necessarily a handout or an NPC or something like that.
On that
where are the
note,
sticky notes?
I've been using the crap out of the note button. So like anything that I've been taking notes on is literally in the note button in the top right.
Oh, that's nice.
So
I've
like,
just been writing in a notebook.
which may or may not be useful for you guys. I've also copy and pasted it to a notepad for myself. But
where's the note section? Oh,
Top right.
corner.
I did know about this one. This is really cool.
So I've been putting things like photos I've taken of or things of import.
I think the note section, and then we like copy and paste it onto a sticky note would probably be the best.
This note in the top right is probably really useful for now, but you're going to get a lot of information over time, and this will get lost, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
It might be also neat for us as a group going forward to maybe have like a... can you do multiple tabs in a Google Doc so that there's several tabs? Or is that just a
I'm
Google
not
Sheets
sure.
thing?
That's a Google Sheets. Google Docs would be a bit more confusing.
Because I was going to say, if we all had like one spot where we could catalog all these, would be useful.
I mean, I was gonna work my notes into this Miro thing.
That was my plan as well.
Let's try that for now, and then if it
I
gets
just
cumbersome,
didn't
let
want
me
to
know.
clutter it.
That makes sense.
That was my
Nah, I
concern.
get you.
Try it, Myro, for now, and then if it gets too cluttered, let me know, because it is the free account, so I have no idea like the limitations of this. But I will tell you, as a person who ran Masks and only 1/4 of it, this shit's useful. So have fun.
No, I'm loving it already.
I leave it entirely in your guys' hands.
Oh wait. Don't do the arrows. Wait, get rid of that.
What was the third Dodge brother's name? Because I've only heard you say
Oh, wait.
Walter,
Oh, wait, no,
Reginald,
what?
and
Sorry
the
about
other
that.
brother.
He does have a name. I mentioned it earlier. It is.
There is a way to add text.
Yeah,
in
you said at the
this.
very beginning, but that was before I got my notebook open.
Herbert.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Herbert.
Like the sherbet.
Oh wait, Ben, did you?
Herbert.
It's like the long form name for Herb.
Yeah.
What is this picture, Alan?
No, that's Ben. I did the name.
Ben, what is this?
I searched bloody skeleton and this is what I found.
This looks really familiar. I
No idea where it's from.
I dig it.
So yeah, they're organized by scenario. You guys will move these things around. That's it for me. Anything else for you guys?
No.
Do we
just-
want to
I
start
looked
the
like-
journals in Discord?
I'm gonna make them right
I
after
was
this.
planning to.
Okay.
We're continuing 2 weeks from now.
Right, so let's do schedules really quick because I know that Ethan's not good next week, which is fine because it's bi-weekly. 2 weeks from now is what
That
date?
is good.
The 15th.
We good for
Yeah.
the 15th, folks?
I should.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will have just started the process of moving, but we're going to do that over like a few weeks. So my
I'm
stream setup will be fine until like,
I am
I mean, it'll be fine on Fridays.
very cool. I am also moving, and that'll be like June to August. We're hoping June. It depends on what's going on with COVID and also like our own wedding planning. That's so like I'm gonna be moving. Things are gonna get disrupted, but like let's please try to keep that going.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very cool.
Yeah. I'm glad Ethan's busy next week because I was also going to be busy next week because I forgot next week, Friday is May 8th, and that's my birthday. So,
Oh yeah,
Oh, nice.
Forgot.
yeah.
that happens.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Usually my birthday falls on a really busy time at work, but COVID's fucked with that, so it's not as bad. So usually I forget about it.
That's fair. Well, guys, the main thing is I'm glad that you guys like Myro because it will become useful, and I know I'm just saying that, but it's great. I'm glad you had fun. Let's do this again. Thanks, and we'll see you later.
Bye everyone.
See ya.
I feel bad for everyone who has to look when I zoom in and like sit real close because they just see my forehead.
Well, you got to
Like
lower the
Cthulhu.
camera